Let's go! Welcome back to Hall of Fame College Football. I'm your host, Jason Watkins, and if you love college football, you're definitely in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of the Hall of Fame College Football Podcast. Where the hell is everybody? You guys talk about me being late, and there's 5 of you in here? Really? No, what's up, everybody? Glad everybody's here. Yeah, I know you were, man. I'm just messing with y'all, too. Hey, welcome back to the show. Sorry I hadn't been on there so much. What's up, Steven? How's everybody? Adela, JC, Hank, Lemon. Who else we got in here? Adela. She's always first in. Not always, but a lot of times. Yeah, glad everybody's here. We are going to welcome into the show the Professor, Cody Sprague from Hightop Sports. Welcome to the show, Cody.
The professor, the Cody that apparently your chat likes.
The Cody that they like. Yes, the Cody that they like. That's what they say. Yep, that's actually true. That's how it is. So, yeah.
Yeah, so decided to go full visor today, coach's visor, feeling that a little bit. So, yeah, I'm excited, man. Can we just get football already?
Shawty! Hey, man, if you want to jump in, I'll throw you a link, man. You're welcome to. Huh?
But can we just get football already? I mean, chomping at the bit. NFL, college, something.
I'm so over talking season, man, especially when all we're talking about is freaking recruiting and you know, because I'm over the recruiting stuff right now. It's time for football, baby. I'm excited for it, right? And then, you know, it's time to start getting geared up and everything else for the real stuff, man. We're going to talk about a few things tonight, folks. We're going to go over what we think are the overrated and underrated teams in each power conference, Power 5 conference. We'll also talk a little bit about which ranked team do you think goes down first. And by that, I'm not talking about LSU, Florida State. We know one of them is going to lose, okay? So we're talking about an upset loss to an unranked team. Which one do you see happening first? Yeah, so let's see. Why would
you want to start off with that? With the unranked team?
Gator. Oh, see, Shawty already on it. See, Shawty Parker. This is my boy from he's always on the Fan Addict Sports Show, the Respect the Hedges. Got to hang out with those guys last weekend and this weekend actually, but Shawty wasn't on there. But he played receiver at Georgia. Real good dude, man. And hey, man, I watched your show, by the way, the other day, Your Own Damn Opinion. I like it, man. Fun stuff. Fun stuff, man. So, yeah, if you want to jump in, actually, we're going to make this a call-in show for everybody. So if anybody wants to jump in, let me actually get that invite. I'm going to put it in the chat. Shawty, if you want to jump in for a little bit, you're welcome to. Anybody else, if you guys want to call in as well, give us some love or whatever, we'll do that. All right. Then we're going to talk about, is it time to push for a separate playoff bracket for G5 conference schools? We'll get into that a little bit as well. That might get a lot of people a little pissy, but we'll see. Talk his pit. Hey, man, good to see you in here. Thank you for coming in, Nathan. Good to see you in here as well. All my boys from the Discord, obviously the members of the Hall of Fame Mafia. If you want to become a member of the Hall of Fame Mafia and get into our Discord where we talk about a lot of stuff, hey, all you got to do is become a channel member. It's as little as $2.99 a month. It helps support this show and keep us bringing you content week after week. I haven't been doing as many shows this week, guys, and I know why. It's because I've been working late nights and stuff like that. I hate it that it's going on, but it is what it is. So I gotta kind of have to do a little bit here and there. Hey, JC, yeah, after the draft, yeah, let me know. Come on in. Stand up what? Huh? I'm not standing up. What do you mean? Everybody say hello to Norman. He's of course sleeping. Oh wait.
Oh my. He slipped the Norman cam.
The Norman cam, bro. Oh man, come
He
on now.
He had to wiggle right next to your leg.
Yeah, he did.
He has to touch
So
you.
much for the Norman cam. He's
Yeah.
got to be right next to me. All right. But yeah, I'm glad everybody's in here. Hall of Fame Mafia. So yeah, guys, everybody do become a member of the channel member, man. It's awesome, right? We appreciate it. And like I said, it's as little as $2.99 a month, man. That's less than one of your Starbucks coffees, less than a beer at the bar. Just one of them. We are doing some. Actually, once we get to 100 members, I definitely want to do a giveaway. We'll do that at 100. We'll do that at probably 250, and then 500 too. So it'll get progressively better, I think. And then you do get some different. Just for being a member, there are some different perks that come along with that. Obviously, the Discord is a big one, but there's some channel stuff that we'll be having that's only for members. We'll probably do some call-in shows just for that, right? And then obviously there's I'm going to be doing some writing. I've actually got a couple of columns getting ready to come out as well too, and that'll only be for our channel members to read as well. Some of it, not all of it, but some of it. But hey, there's some good news. I've actually been can't really talk too much about it, but looking like we are going to be a part of a big group. Hey, looky there, we got a new member, Neilio. Thank you very much. Let me Thank you for coming in. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Hall of Fame Mafia, Neilio.
KC, Kansas City Metro.
Some
of the best barbecue around.
A lot of Sooner fans out there, right? Glad you're out here, though. Thank you for becoming a member of the Mafia. Jump onto our Discord, man. You'll love it in there. We have a lot of fun with that as well. And there's some other perks that go with it. Anyways, just check all that stuff out. Also, you can get official podcast merchandise. It's right above Cody's head. We got the horns down stuff, the SUC line. We've also got the we've got some Okie Light mic stuff, things like that. Hey, the Louisiana Grill stuff is awesome. You get up to $100 off anything in the Black Label line. If you are one of those folks that likes to smoke meat, or if you're a tailgater and stuff like that, you've got to check out these Louisiana Grills. There's something else.
Yeah, I'm gonna order one.
Hey, man, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm fixing to get one pretty soon coming in. Also, we are official partners with Fanatics. So if you are looking for and it doesn't matter what team it is, you can jump onto our official Fanatics partner store, hofmedia.us/Fanatics. Get up to 65% off everything in the store. Sometimes it's free shipping, but there's always the best deals you can get on Fanatics is going to be through our link. Make sure you jump on there. Get ready. Hey, get ready for this dang thing. It's time. It is time for college football, folks. You're actually a K-State alum, but like the show. Well, that's okay. All right. I don't have a K-State thing, but remind me next time when you come on the show, and I will play the K-State. I'll play the K-State fight song. I will never ever play the Okie Light fight song, the Texas fight song. That shit just ain't happening. Okay, so just so you guys understand that. All right. So we've got somebody coming in here. Is this Shawty? Let me see who this is. It is Shawty. What's up, man?
Hey, how y'all doing tonight?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. We're a little out of whack there, though. Let's see what.
Am I?
Yeah, it looks like you're a little skinnied out, man. Skinnied out.
Oh, let me go to my settings.
Okay. How's it going, man? How you been?
Hey, man, poor man just trying to make it, stay out of folks' way.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Well, hey, man, I'm really glad that you joined us. This is obviously Cody, the professor. I know you were busting his chops about the visor there with the gator on it. You played against him, so he jumped out.
Yeah,
he may have decided that was just too much.
No, he'll jump back in. He had just got his camera right too.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, anyway, Neilio, if you come back next time, I will make sure I have the K-State one since you jumped on. I'll put that in there. I appreciate everybody. popping in and doing that kind of stuff. But again, like I said, there will be no horns down stuff, no Texas fight song, no A&M fight song, and definitely no Okie Light fight song.
What about USC?
USC, they can kiss my ass too.
I knew it.
You already know. For sure. Anyway, hey, welcome to the show, man. We appreciate you coming in. I was liking your show the other day, by the way, Shawty. It was good. I enjoyed it.
I got a chance to check it out, man.
Yeah, for sure. So as you see, we're going to talk a little bit about overrated teams in each conference, underrated teams in each conference, which ranked team goes down first, and not talking about the Florida State LSU game. One of them got to lose, but I was more talking about maybe in an upset. You know what I mean? So we'll kind of mess with it that way. Let's see if I can get one more either. All right. Let's talk a little bit about that. So let's go ACC first off. We kind of started there. I kind of have a couple of teams that I've been looking at, but I will say that I think it's hard to say that you would underrate Clemson or that they'd be, well, no, they could be overrated for sure. We're on overrated first, so let's go there first. Who's overrated?
I guess overrated would be FSU, right? For everybody?
It would be for me.
Yes.
They will
because Jordan Travis is, let's be real, he's a one-read, one-option quarterback, and if he gets hurt, their season is done. They're literally one player away, right? Which you can't be. And as much as he runs and his knack has been the injuries, I don't know, man. And I had Florida State early, high projected into my like top 5, top 10, maybe playoff run, but I don't know if nothing behind him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the difference in teams that are elite. And, you have to have depth. And if you don't have depth, you're not an elite team. You have a lot of guys that, a lot of teams that have, 1 through 11 or 1 through 21 or 22 starters. But you got to be in that, 30, not 30, but maybe, close to 30. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to be too deep almost nowadays at almost every position if you're going to be elite. Plus, it's a battle of attrition.
Correct. Yeah. It's almost like when Florida, Franks got hurt, Kyle Trask stepped in and it was a world beater right off rip, right? And you look at that team and they were too deep, like what you're saying, like what Georgia is now. Now we don't know what their quarterback is this year, but last year we knew the defense was really good. The defense was really good, and even if you had attrition at cornerback, at D line, wide receiver, you had a thoroughbred that would step in, like Alabama for all these years, and that's what they made their playoff runs on. That's what they built their dynasty on is having guys step in. A guy gets hurt or a guy doesn't play well, you step in, put 2 in, or you put whoever, and that's one of them things. And but the problem is a lot of teams don't have that, right?
No, I think you're right, and I think that if you're not too deep, you're definitely not winning the national championship. And the one thing I'd say about Jordan Travis is the dude has never been healthy a full season.
Never.
He hasn't played more than 10 games yet. So until he does that, I don't see how you put those guys out. That was going to be my pick. Was definitely going to be Florida State because I don't see how they've lost 8 times in a row to Clemson, and you're still picking them ahead of them in the polls everywhere and everything else. I just don't get it. And listen, I like their coach. I think Jay Norvell's a good coach. I think that they're getting a lot of talent in there, but I also think that they lost a lot of talent to Colorado that people aren't talking about as well. And for as good as they supposedly are, Oklahoma in their worst season in 20 freaking years gave them all they wanted in that bowl game, and they only had half their team there. So they lost a bunch of their offensive linemen. I mean, look, it is
and
what
Norvell,
it is.
I don't think Norvell's beat a top 25 team. That was floating around Twitter last week.
Well, he did, but he beat LSU at the start of the year last year.
Okay, so one team, so he's beat one team and all the opponents he's played. Okay, so I'll give him that, but one is not good enough.
No,
right, and to both you guys' point, that's what I was going to say. At the end of the day, they haven't done it. It's all speculation and talk and hype, which is understandable. But at the end of the day, you just go off. The best prediction of the future is what you've done in the past, and they just haven't done it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I don't think there's any doubt about that. Okay, any other overrated teams in there? Do you guys think Clemson may be a little overrated, or do you think I guess those would be the top two? I still feel like it's Clemson's to lose.
It's hard
I
to.
think they're a dark horse to get in.
Clemson's so hard to say because new offensive coordinator, new quarterback. The kid, I can't pronounce his name. I'll butcher it, but obviously they did him no favors. I would not put money if I'm a betting man on Clemson.
Okay.
I'm staying away from them because I just don't know. I just and they play a brand of football that's not appealing to me. It's kind of boring. So
okay. Talkers Pitt agrees with us as well. FSU is way overrated. Pitt exposed Travis in the COVID year, beating them 41-17, and that was in Tallahassee, by the way, too. So yeah, that's
nasty.
So yeah, I'm with you on that one. I think we're there on that. Let's move to the Big Ten overrated. Shawty, start with you.
Oh, my bad.
Go ahead.
Wisconsin. Actually, I like the Big Ten. I mean, they're one of the conferences that actually have a good little bit of parity. Not saying that everybody is great, everybody's bad, but they got a good little bit of parity. But if I went with someone in the Big Ten, I'm probably gonna get jumped. I'm not gonna even start.
Oh, come on now, you can say it. Go ahead. This is my show.
I know I'm gonna get the calls. Man.
OSU. You're gonna say OSU. Come on.
Huh?
You gonna say OSU?
Come on. No. I really think it's Oklahoma State though.
No, in the Big Ten. The Big Ten.
Oh, my bad. I'm thinking about somebody. Yeah.
State is trash. So yeah, you right there. Okay,
I was thinking about him. I was thinking about him earlier, man. I wish I could have caught your show the other night because I really want to talk to him. Because once again, not trying to change the subject, but that Gundy sandwich, I just don't know how much you can eat that and how much longer you can eat it. But that's another story.
They're munching it still, bro.
It's yeah, man. But
I don't know what the hell just happened there, but sorry. Go ahead.
New member.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Wisconsin, kind of because of what I was just recently saying about Florida State. I mean, they're a steady team, but for me, they're always overhyped every year, and they just never tend to pan out. I mean, I just don't know what. It's like they want to put them in there because they have to put somebody in. But if you look at their past and their track record, they just haven't done it. So why do they keep being ranked like this every year?
You're talking Ohio State now.
Wisconsin.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And I say Wisconsin too because they lost Leonard, their defensive coordinator that has been a top 5 decent defensive coordinator in the nation. Nobody's picked him up either, which is mind blowing.
Really?
Yeah, he's still out of the job.
Well, he had a surgery because he was actually going to be an analyst for Oklahoma. He's having, I believe, knee replacement. Something.
That's how y'all sneak him in there.
Yeah. Well, they were going to bring him in so to be an analyst for a year, let him have his surgery, do some stuff like that. But apparently, I think he just got hired somewhere. To be honest with you, so I don't know. It's it looks like he's already moving on. It's already looking like he's moving on.
So is that a loss for you guys in terms for the program?
What's that?
Is that a loss for the program not getting him?
For sure.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think Coach V is gonna do fine anyway because it's Coach Venables. I mean, I feel like the defense. It was about bodies, and it was about the fact that going to the 3-3-5 from, the speed D, whatever that crap is that Grinch runs. It's a different deal, and you'd have to have discipline, hit the gaps, the right ones, and just a lot of it we didn't have it. But
he joins his buddy at Illinois.
Okay. Oh,
which makes sense.
Is he one of those?
He played under him, I believe.
Bielema? He's a Bielema
guy? Yes, he played under him at Wisconsin.
I can't stand Bielema. But okay, all right. We got a new member, another new member, Alexis. Thank you so much.
Wisconsin's overrated because they don't have
Just got to give this for my new members, man. I appreciate that.
I just think they're a little overrated because like what he said, they lost their defensive coordinator, so their top 10 defense is gone probably.
Here's the thing. He left because he didn't get the job. Okay. But you got to remember who did get the job. Luke Fickell got it. And
I get it, but
he took over for
they're going to run the air raid. But they don't have a proven.
I'm not sure that the air raid's going to work.
Yeah, they don't have that kind of personnel.
They brought in 3 quarterbacks or 4 quarterbacks through the transfer portal. They do have a stud in Allen for the running back, but wide receivers, they have nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's going to Wisconsin to be a wide receiver. Let's be real.
Hey, listen, look, Luke Fickell took
Am I wrong?
Cincinnati to the Final Four, bro. He took Cincinnati to the Final Four, though. I think that Luke's a good coach, but obviously
it's going to take years and years and years to build.
Listen, Wisconsin's been a run-heavy team since its inception, probably. And Barry Alvarez has done his best to keep it that way. But the truth be told, they haven't been doing it that way, the way that they've been doing it, right? And for as much as everybody liked Jim Leonard, they didn't improve last year, when because they fired the other guy, week 4?
Yeah.
Week 4, week 5, something like that.
It didn't take long. Yeah, it was a Scott Frost-esque deal. Paul Chris.
Chris. That's the one. Yep. Yeah.
Got a little too comfortable
to me, I'm a believer in Fickell. I think that, I thought that it was stupid that Ohio State didn't give him a shot I would have hired him over Ryan Day, and he would have taken the job.
Well, I
think Urban set that up. I think Urban set that up, obviously. But if you look at it, all they do is freaking play offense. That's all they do. And they can do that. Hell, they could get rid of Ryan Day and just promote their receiver coach if that's what they need.
That's the biggest thing.
Does all the recruiting
with Ohio State is they again, like LSU, would not stoop down to a less echelon team in their state, like Billy Napier going to LSU or obviously Fickell to Ohio State, because they couldn't say that, at the University of Cincinnati right down the road that's been poaching players from us that we can't say that they had a better coach than us. They're not going to do that. They refuse to do that. They're too proud.
I don't think that they're overrated, though. I think it's tough to call them overrated when they might be in the top 25, but nobody's expecting them. Nobody's calling for them to win the conference.
19th.
Or anything. Huh?
19th.
19th. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I'm more. I would look at them as a team that is.
Are they always like in that area, like them in Iowa?
But
they're always like 25 to 19.
Cody,
for no reason.
This is not the same freaking team, though. It's a different team. You've got Tanner Mordecai. You got a lot of guys in the portal. Look, I'm going to tell you this: the entire Big Ten is shit. It's not good. Past Michigan and Ohio State, and then Penn State, man, kind of. But honestly, come on, man. Nobody and they are equal to the SEC, quote unquote, in money only. They ain't got nothing else. They've won
7.5.
8.5.
8.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying the Big Ten is not equal to the SEC in any way except for money, guys. And I don't care about when they add these next 4 teams either. I think that makes them better. I think that it makes them better. But I would tell you that Oregon and Washington are the best teams out of there that are coming in, not SC and UCLA. Right? Lincoln's going to end up staying there.
They're
but it's going to be consistent, though. Are they going to be a perennial, consistent type of,
Yeah.
You think they're going to be consistent year in and year out over a 5-6 year span?
I don't know. They don't play nobody this year either. Their schedule is week 1 Buffalo, week 2 Washington State, week 3 Georgia Southern. I don't know how they rope them in. Week 4 Purdue, which Purdue only shows up when they're wanting to ruin your playoff possibilities. Week 5 is Rutgers. Week 6 is Iowa, Wisconsin.
It's such a trash freaking league, man.
Week 7 is Wisconsin, Illinois. Week 8 is Ohio State, Wisconsin, and then they got IU after that. Northwestern always plays them tough, even though it's a terrible team. It's always a slugfest. And then Nebraska and then Minnesota is a slugfest too. So they got like four tough games.
Maybe tough games, but only because they're not that good. We can
pull up Florida's schedule.
Yeah, listen, here's the deal. Here's the deal about it. Is all I'm saying is maybe it gets better next year. But right now, I don't even look at Michigan goes in thinking they're all that because they beat Ohio State in the shoe. And what happens? They get ran by TCU, who got ran by Georgia in the championship game. Right? I mean, bottom line is that they're not equal to that. And I don't care what we're talking about. And the thing is I don't know that I don't know that Ohio State beats Michigan if they play a second time in the first round of the playoffs. But if they did, I think that the one team out of those three that were going to come close to Georgia was going to be Ohio State just because of that offense and the game plan they used, right? I think that Michigan would have went in there and tried to out Georgia. What's that?
They just matched up better. Talent for talent, they were just as good as we were. They just wasn't as deep.
Yeah, defensively they weren't, and but I think that speed wise they were as good as anybody, right? And you get them in a perfect situation in the dome. It was a perfect situation for Ohio State to get that upset, even though it was in Georgia. You know what I mean? I still feel like that was a perfect situation. My thing is that had Michigan ended up playing them, they try to out Georgia, and they get smoked too. Right.
We would have smashed them again.
Yeah, I agree. Because I think they would have tried to out Georgia again. Okay, so let's see. Ohio State's just a brand now, no substance. I'm with you, Peanut Butter. I'm with you, man. That's exactly. I think if I'm going overrated, it's Ohio State.
What do you guys think if Ohio State loses to Michigan again? Do you think
I think that they're going to have the pitchforks out and the freaking
But do you think that the alum fire him or whatever?
It depends if they get in the.
Because who are you going to hire?
I don't know. He's been in the playoff a few times. I think it's hard to do that, but I don't know, man. Yeah, listen, Coach O won the national championship 2 years before he got fired.
Listen, you know how I am about eating that same old sandwich. I totally get it, but it'll be, in my opinion, other than homers, it'll be hard to justify that fire. Because at that particular point, you're talking about bringing another person in that can only beat one team.
The Ohio State is the Auburn of the Big Ten. They'll do that. They'll do that shit. You know what I mean? They're rowdy like that. They don't get if they're not beating Michigan. They don't give a shit. They will fire their coach. It don't matter how many wins.
Will do it
you know what I mean?
Look, they were going through coaches, and what were they? I mean, they lost 14 or some crap like that in a row, or maybe it was they won one and then they won
Michigan though, and still have a hell of a shot to win it all. Still,
now you can.
Now not winning it all and losing to Michigan, now that's gonna suck.
Just remember, we were talking about Harbaugh on the hot seat last year.
If Mark Richt had been losing year after year after year, would he have lasted as long at Georgia?
If Mark, he lasted 14 years.
That's what I'm saying. Would he have lasted that long if he was never beating Florida?
Oh no, I got you. No, you're right. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's just I don't feel like this is one of those things that they're just not having it, right? They're just not having it, and it's not okay to lose. It's not okay if you're Michigan to lose. It's not okay if you're Ohio State to lose. Just like Oklahoma, it's not okay to lose to Texas, and it's not okay to lose to Okie Light. It's just not. And if you lose more than one, or if you start losing a bunch of them back to back to back, man, you got to go. I still that sandwich, man. How the hell do you go 3-16 against anyone and still have your damn job?
So let me ask you guys this. So is he in better position if he wins the Big 12 the Big 10 championship and lose in the playoffs, or vice versa, lose to Michigan and win in the playoffs.
No, they win. If they win against Michigan and lose in the playoff, he's golden.
I don't.
Well,
think
that's what
I don't think that's true either.
See, that's what we were just saying.
I think
if you lose to Michigan, that'll be 3 years in a row, right?
No, if he beats Michigan at it's the last game of the year, right? The Ohio State Michigan. If he beats Michigan and fumbles on the last game or the first playoff game, he's fine. He's just Ryan Day this year has to beat Michigan or he's going to be outed. They will show up there with pitchforks. They're not going to allow it.
Hey, the other thing is this though. Have you seen all the bitching and complaining that he's done all offseason, Ryan Day? Hey, bro, the whole thing about the
Saban Jr.
The targeting hit, and it was, and then it's the hash marks, and then it's all kinds of shit. He's been, bro, win some games and shut up. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to hear that crap from you when you're choking big games at the shoe. Even come on, man.
Yeah,
and it's and about like you got to be fully. Well, if we'd have been making excuses, if we're fully healthy, and who the hell is fully healthy at the end of the damn season?
This year will be about. This year it's gonna be at Michigan.
Yeah.
So you got to go in their house and you got to win one.
Coach I, there he is. Hey man, that let's I'll pop that in there if you want to hop in too. Yeah, listen. Bottom line to me is you gotta win that game. I think they're overrated. If we're talking the overrated teams, it's gonna be them. It is. I also think that Penn State is a bit overrated as well. They need to show us something at some point.
Penn State.
Penn State's got to show you something.
No, they're all right with mediocrity. They win 7, 8, 9, 10 games. They're fine with it. No, they are.
You go in and you win a couple of rows.
As long as they get college game day once during a whiteout game, they are fucking fine with it. It's mediocrity.
I like this Penn State overrated better than my first choice. Now that I think more about it,
Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're overrated a bit because
they are fine with it. They are totally fine with it.
Year. They've got a decent quarterback this year. This is supposed to be the year that they get it done.
It's always something with Penn State. It's every year, bro.
I agree. I would agree.
Every year. They have this, they have that, and they never get it done. Am I wrong?
Yeah. Well, look, hey, listen, I think you could talk about the whole
Georgia fans smiling over here
all damn day long. we can do this shit all day long in the Big Ten because Michigan ain't won anything since freaking World War II. They ain't won a national, and Ohio State's got 2 national titles in 50 damn years. What are we talking about? You know what I mean?
But Michigan got the best offensive line again this year, right? Right?
I'm sure. Yeah.
Now
he thinks that playing that Bo Schembechler ball is going to work, though. It ain't. They didn't win. They didn't win under Bo either.
OSU does probably have the best receiving class in the nation. Wide receiver.
There's no doubt about that. Hey, look, the receiving class, it gets better and better and better. You're right. Their receiver room out there. If there's anybody close to them, it's probably Georgia and Texas.
Y'all know you don't win the big game, though. You win the big games in the trenches, man.
Yeah,
that's front 7
and defense.
Well, and they now see Jim Knowles. Jim Knowles did go in there. He was, and he had Oklahoma State when they were still choking away the freaking Big 12 championship, but they got to it, and they beat Oklahoma 2 years ago. Jim Knowles was their coordinator. He had that defense as one of the top defenses in the country. Now, you should have better. You've got better talent at Ohio State than you do at Okie Light. There ain't no doubt about that. But is it something to do with Ryan Day's offense? I don't know, because something needs to. It could have just been it takes a year to get it done, right? And it takes a year to get them running the system. But I think
they don't know ball control.
If they're still shitty on defense this year, it's bad, right, Shawty?
And that's kind of exactly, and that's kind of the point is not knowing ball control. That don't help your defense out. It doesn't, and that's kind of been a problem. They all about offense and scoring. But football is a game of balance.
It is.
I gotta agree. And I ask you this: what happens to that wide receiver room when Hartline decides to take? Now, is he going to be a Billy Gonzalez and always be a wide receiver coach, or what happens if he does decide to take a head coaching job somewhere
I think he's already.
I don't think they recruit. I don't think they recruit like what they were. I think that he is the secret sauce.
Right. No, I agree with that. I think Hank said that in their Heartline is him, and I agree with that. Coach I said, can you claim best wide receiver room but can't win without WR1? That's a fair statement. I think. Look, they gave Georgia all they wanted in that game. They gave them all they wanted. And you said yourself, Coach I, that they lost because of a stupid call. It was not a penalty call, a stupid decision to go ahead and kick that field goal, and just basically it's like they were settling for it, right? I think that was the biggest issue there, and I think that Ryan Day's just I think he's Lincoln Light, man. I do.
You think he's not a gamer?
I think that when the game gets close, he don't really know what to do, man. Yep. He just don't know what to do. So
I gotta agree. Because they have all the talent in the world. I mean,
you don't know how to coach from behind.
Yeah. No. Or with somebody chasing him about to catch your ass.
Because
he was ahead a bunch of times in that game.
I live in the Midwest, and Ohio State is the premier program here. Like, it's Ohio State and everybody else. Like, if you offer a kid and he's from the Midwest, a wide receiver, it don't matter what position. They're going to Ohio State.
Everywhere, not just the Midwest. Shit.
They have a giant pool to pull from. And I get that. And they go into Florida, and they go into Oklahoma, they go into Texas, they go into Louisiana, and they go into Georgia, and they nip talent a little bit too. But it's like, why are you not getting it done with all that talent? Why? You have so many first-round draft picks and wide receivers. Why are you not getting it done?
But listen, even Urban wasn't winning the shit either. I mean, he won that first one, and then they didn't do it since. Hell, Clemson's got 2. The ACC's got more freaking national championships in the playoff area than the damn Big Ten. I think the whole league sucks, man. I'm sorry, I just do. I'm not into the Big Ten at all. All right, we're not going there. All right, let's go to the next league. We'll go Big 12 first, and then we'll finish with the SEC. All right. Go Big 12, then Pac, and then finish in the SEC. Big 12, most overrated. Cody.
Okie Light.
Are they overrated? They're picked.
I don't know, but I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it just to stir the pot.
Yeah, I'll take it.
What's their Vegas spread? Like 1 win or something?
6.5.
Oh, golly. No.
With that schedule?
With that schedule. Yeah, you're right. You're right on it. Hey, look, but here's the deal. They lost.
They're not beating Tulane. They play Tulane.
Let me run something down for you guys. Okie like Cody would be pissed for me saying this, but they lost their starting quarterbacks, 5 of their top 6 receivers. They lost the best linebacker that they had in Mason Cobb. They lost their 2 best safeties, even though they replenished that safety pretty good. I'm going to give them that. They lost their starting left tackle, who was 350 freaking pounds, to BYU. They lost a ton of dudes, a ton of talent there. And with Spencer Sanders, I mean, we're talking about a kid that Gundy was calling him the best OSU quarterback of all time earlier in the season when he was on with Joe Klatt.
I think they lose against Arizona
There ain't no
State.
damn way they get 7 wins. I'm sorry, there ain't no damn way. Beat the shit out of the under on 6.5. And love it. Beat the shit out of the under on 6.5. You will get paid. Wow. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, man.
That's a big fall from grace there, man.
Hey, look, and here's who they replaced. Here's who they replaced freaking Spencer Sanders with is freaking oh damn it, now I just forgot his name. The kid that he was at Tech, and then he was at, somebody help me here, Hank, Bowman. Yeah, Bowman. He's lost out at freaking Tech and at freaking Michigan, lost his job, and they are dead set that this guy is the truth out there. I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. I don't believe that they've got they brought in to replace their defensive coordinator. They brought in a Division III freaking DC that nobody knows who he is, and they're changing to the 3-3-5. I can tell you, as watching OU change to the 3-3-5 without the personnel to do it, it ain't that easy to do. They're going to get their asses kicked. They're probably going to beat some of the teams on that schedule because that schedule's crap, right? But
You have definitely got to have
I think
men in
they
the
win at
middle to
most.
run
I
the
think they
defense.
win 6 at most. Yeah.
Going to a 3-3-5, you got to have 3 grown men up front.
You really need 6, don't you?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm just saying, if you ain't got them space eaters go in the front 3, the way you gonna it's gonna tear the whole defense up. It's just not gonna hold up. Ask Arkansas about it.
That's right. You're right. Hey, look, I believe that 100%. In fact, we watched it. We thought that, and I'll admit that I was one of the people that thought, hey, just having Venables in the room is going to fix this defense. It isn't. When you've had these guys used to certain things, they're running a different and on top of that, they were all smaller from having Wiley there. When they had a yoga coach freaking at strength and conditioning. They were all smaller for speed purposes, blah, blah, blah. I know there's a little sweet spot there, but I'm not now they're stronger, they're bigger, they brought in a bunch of guys in the portal that should help out a lot. But you still got to put that on the field and get it done. And as somebody who watched that play out the way it did last year, I don't buy for 1 second that they're just going to turnkey that damn defense and it's going to be fine at Oklahoma State. Now, overrated is not OSU because of the fact that nobody expects them to win shit. You might call them underrated, but nobody here is. So who would be another team for you in that? Let's say you've got TCU, who, obviously in the championship game last year, you've got K-State, Texas Tech, Oklahoma, and then Texas too. I mean, Texas was picked by 41 media members to win the conference. Oklahoma, I think they picked them number 2, and then they've got basically tied with K-State. I think that K-State being the defending champion, I think that it's a little slide on them because they got their quarterback back. They did lose Deuce, but they brought in some other guys. I like K-State better than I like Texas winning it because I think Texas just don't win shit when they're supposed to.
Yeah, but see, K-State just a quarterback away from being trash again.
Yeah, they could. Here's the thing about K-State, though. They got a hell of a coach. Kleiman, he's proven they got a good coach there. I don't know what's going to happen. I think that in the end, here's the truth of it. If you're looking at talent and supposedly what you expect from these coaches, Oklahoma and Texas ought to be playing for the conference championship. Now, Texas has a little bit of a tougher road to it. OU, they're only not favored to beat Texas, period. So you need to win.
I like OU for better than 6 games, man.
Huh? No, OU? No, OU's picked to win 9.5.
Okay. I was like, I heard y'all wrong. I thought somebody said 6 and 5. That's why I like with that schedule.
Oklahoma State is at 6.5. They actually have an easier schedule than OU, but except that they're OSU. They're bad. So
yeah, I got
it. But yeah, I don't know. Can we say Texas is overrated or back? Okay, who said this? This is Stephen G. That's a good one. I'll go first here. I'm gonna say Texas. It's easy to say Texas here because they haven't won a conference championship. They've only played for one since 2009. They've never had a problem recruiting. Now, I will say that I think that Sark is better at this as far as the recruiting side. He's worse at adjusting during the game. They have probably the best offensive line. They have the best offensive line in the league, though, for sure. Go ahead.
Sark gonna start. He gonna do what they do. I'm with you on that. I really have no faith in the guy, to be honest.
I don't have no faith in freaking Sark, though, man. He's 7-win Sark, bro. He's never won 10 games. He's only won 9 once. So I have a hard time believing that they're going to win the thing. They've got 2 big games towards the end of the season against K-State and Texas Tech, who I believe is underrated in terms of the top 25. They should have been in the top 25 over freaking Iowa. What are you kidding me? But they got 2. Now, they do get them at home. But look, if they're not going to if they're going to keep Quinn in and not going to adjust, and they got the wrong quarterback in because Sark isn't going to adjust. Now, if you were to put in the transformer, then everybody's in deep shit. But everybody's in deep shit then. But I think a lot of it will have to do with whether Patterson comes back as well. We're gonna find out. But until Texas wins something, then I'm gonna say they're overrated. That's it. That's all I got to say about it. Cody, you're muted, bro, or you're losing it. You there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think TCU is overrated in my aspect. You got laid on in front of God and everybody by Georgia, and I just don't know if kids buy into that program after seeing that happen to you in front of everybody in the national championship, and they probably shouldn't even have made it. Truthfully, they wouldn't have made it in an expanded expanded playoff. Truthfully, I don't think. And I think Duggar's gone, right?
He is. I think he hadn't won that job, but that's the other thing that people don't realize is that when you lose Garrett Riley, I mean, he made Max Duggan look like he was something. He never had done anything prior to last season.
Yeah. So I just think TCU is the biggest, going to be the biggest disappointment, and I think the biggest underdog is probably Texas Tech.
Underrated. Yeah, I think nationally they're definitely underrated for sure. I think that there are a lot of people's dark horse pick to win or to get to the championship at least. But we'll see. I think
they can ruffle some feathers. We'll see though.
They're good, man. Hey, look, when you're taking Micah Hudson, the number one receiver in Texas, away from Texas, they're doing something right.
Yeah,
right?
They are. I don't know what they tapped into, but they're doing something. And that's the fun part about NIL, right? Is it's not it is starting to even out a little bit.
Yeah. Pac-12 underrated. Shawty.
Pac-12 underrated. Believe it or not,
Colorado.
Oh no. I'm gonna go with Oregon State, man. I really think they got something going on. I think they're really flying under the radar. In the Pac-12, I think we talked about this on a previous show. A lot of those top teams are going to play each other and cannibalize themselves anyway, like USC, Washington, Oregon, all those guys. But I just really think Oregon State flying up on the radar, and I really like DJ, man. I really do. Man.
I second that. If I was going to go there, if nobody else did, I believe that it's them. I think that DJU's got a big arm, as big as anybody in the country. He's an NFL talent when it comes to arm and size. We actually had his dad on the show last week, and I'm telling you, man. Big Dave is cool as hell, man. He's going to be on with us again soon. But I tell you, I think that he still has the record, his second start of his career, Notre Dame, 400 plus yards passing. He didn't just forget how to do the shit. I think Streeter was not getting it done. I think that's clear that they fired him so quick.
Right.
He was definitely better last season, but it wasn't enough. And I know that you guys have talked a lot about that receiving core, and it just wasn't getting it done either at Clemson. But that being said, if you're not scheming it right, how are you going to get them open? We don't know how good they might be because, maybe they're better than we think, but it just wasn't a fit,
But he complained about the offense and its kind of simplicity, right?
Yeah, he did air it out about that. Yeah,
he did. He said a little something about that, and Big Dave wouldn't talk about it much last week. When we talked to him, he said, look, I don't have anything bad to say about him. But I'm not going to go there. But yeah, it was tough on us because he took a lot of that on his own shoulders of not being able to be there for DJ. But I think that it's a good situation for him. They run a pro style offense out there at Oregon State. His coaches, they freaking beat Oregon last year without a real quarterback, So I think that it's going to be, that's a tough situation for him. He's going to have, Mateo looks like he's going to be starting at defensive end and chasing DJ around. So he's got one son chasing the other one around for Oregon and Oregon State. That's going to be fun.
House divided.
Right. Right. But no, it's I think they're underrated for sure. I would still tell you that I think Colorado is probably a bit underrated. I think they're going to be a lot better than they were a year ago. They pretty much turned over the entire roster.
Well, not to be Jason. One win,
But I see him more in that 6-7 win range, and because I don't think that the Pac-12 is that good aside from your very top teams. Maybe half of it, I guess.
Vegas got him at 3.5, right?
I think 3.5, 4.5, something like that. I think it is 3.5. Yeah, but look, but Shedeur can play though, bro. I don't care if he played at HBCU level or not. The dude can go, and we saw it last year because we know USC didn't stop nobody. But look, if you got a guy that's mobile and you got a guy that can spin it, which is Shedeur. I mean, I'm not saying he's Caleb Williams. I'm saying he's that guy though. He can play, right? If you got that dude, they've got some talent on the outside. They've got some running back talent. Why can't they go in there and win 5 or 6?
It's a chemistry, man. It's just like it's almost like a whole new team. Nobody knows anyone. It's gonna be hard
in the country too. I think they're a little underrated. I'm not going crazy on it saying they're winning the conference championship. That's not what I'm saying. I think that they're a few years away from, and I think it's good for them going back to the Big 12. I think that Colorado didn't belong in the pack anyway, right? But 6 wins, Prime is coach of the year. Yeah, I think that could be right.
We're going overrated next.
Yeah, overrated. Yeah, who you got overrated in the pack though?
Oregon.
Okay. Why?
Bo Picks. I don't believe him. I can't.
Well, you don't see
the Georgia fan, the Florida and the Georgia fan are agreeing. We're both shaking our head. Yes. What? What? Yes. What? Bo Picks. Bo Picks is why.
Hey, look, guys. Am
I wrong?
I don't disagree. I think that Dillingham made him look a lot better. I think and he's gone, so you could see Oregon struggling with Bo Nix. Now, I think they have some people behind them. But if that defense, I think the defense is going to be improved there. I think it is. So I still like them better than I like USC, which would be my overrated team.
Improved for Pac-12 or improved? Because we know the Pac-12 don't really play no defense.
Well, but that's all that matters. If it's improved in the Pac-12, because they got to win in the Pac-12 first before they can do anything else, okay. Right?
But
so what I'm getting at is I think they're better than USC, though. I mean, USC didn't. Something you got to remember about SC. And I know, I mean,
but SC
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan.
Caleb Williams.
They do, and Caleb makes up for a lot. But they're not going to be better on defense, bro. They're not. They're not. They're going
to improve it all.
They got Bear.
He's going to take that
to a top 5 defense.
He probably lost 30 pounds, bro. He probably lost 30. They got the freaking yoga instructor now. He went with Lincoln. Look. I've seen this. We've all seen this movie. Us OU fans. We've all seen this movie before. They don't get better, and they're not going to get bigger. And I mean, he made it clear. Look, Caleb Williams makes up for a lot. I think that Oklahoma could have had a 6-win season his last year if it wasn't for Caleb Williams. He pulled them out of a lot of jams against teams that they shouldn't have been in close games with. West Virginia, Tulane. I mean, look, it was. Or Tulane, he didn't pull them out, but they almost lost to Tulane. They weren't 2 years ago. They won 2 games 2 years ago, Cody. They won 2 games 2 years ago.
Are they better than Utah? Oh, that's my overrated team.
Utah?
Is SC better than Utah? No, they beat USC twice last year. I think without Cam, it's a struggle, right? But I think that Coach Witt's the best coach in the league. I think he's the best.
I don't know about that now. Now that what's come out about letting his quarterbacks getting hit, no.
Oh, come on,
they're in practice.
Come on, Cody.
You can't let your quarterback get hit. They're in practice. They wear a red damn jersey for a reason.
He's a freshman, bro. Come on.
Lacerated spleen. I mean, and your starter is coming off the ACL.
This is why Florida's going to beat Utah, according to the professor here. That's what.
We beat them last year.
And they quarterback. So how healthy is the quarterback going to be? 80%?
No, not even.
I don't know. I don't even think he plays.
He blew his knee out.
I think that Whittingham is definitely the best. Hey, Coach I's with me on it. I'm telling you, he's the best coach in the pack. He is. Period.
There's not. Pack, but he's not going to beat a big bad SEC team. Not going to happen. They don't
With
have the
Utah,
depth. They don't
probably
have the
not.
weight.
They don't. Hey, one thing ain't the same as the other.
But they're ranked. They're ranked in the AP poll. We talk about teams overranked.
Okay. Well, if you
where
think
they
they're
at here?
overrated, I'm
That'd
just
be
going
an
to
upset then, right? They ranked 14.
14th. The
That'd be
14th.
an upset.
twice last year, and USC's ranked 6th.
Well, I thought we was talking about Florida and Utah. My bad.
But I'm saying
Yeah,
where I was
we
at,
were,
I mean,
but
Utah has
I'm just
beaten USC twice.
What,
Mhm.
Last season. They got most
what's
of
your
their
prediction to that game as a SEC fan or a Georgia fan, SEC fan?
Florida and Utah.
Yeah.
I think Florida gonna go in and edge them out by 3-6 points.
Sooner
I think it's
Cowboys,
14.
USC's defense, 98. No. You can. There's some different rankings, but overall, who gives a shit? They were both terrible. But if you're talking about points allowed and things like that, OU's was better. They were both shitty though. There's not, and guess what? You know what's the same thing about those two defenses? They both have Alex Grinch's fingerprints all over them.
You know what's really funny about the whole Florida Georgia thing?
Here with that shit.
Real fast. I'll say this. I'll say this with the Florida Georgia thing is that Utah is taking Florida. Okay, whatever. Not gonna happen. Yeah, we're gonna pummel them. We're gonna run it for 400 yards down their throat. They're not gonna be able. I mean, our offensive line is 350 pounds average. Like you ain't gonna do nothing about it. It just is what it is. It's just we're gonna run it down your throat, and then Mertz gonna hit the slant.
We'll see.
As what of AR couldn't do last year. It's going to be a better game. I think Mertz is a better quarterback than what AR is, and we've seen it with the Colts this year.
Yeah, I don't. Hey, look, as much as I like AR as an athlete, I don't think he's a quarterback.
And I love AR.
Not yet, anyway. I think that he needs to do some work. Right? He's got work to do.
Yeah.
Right. But he's also a superior athlete, and I think that he won the game for you guys last year. There's no two ways around it.
In the defense, yeah. But the defense will be better this year. So I wanted to say this real fast. So our defensive coordinator was sent by Billy Napier to Georgia to learn their scheme when he was at Louisiana. Did you know that?
Do what?
You asking me?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so Billy Napier was playing the long game, and he had Austin Armstrong go to Georgia and learn their scheme because that's the scheme he wanted to run at the SEC because he knew he was going to get an SEC job. He didn't know if it was Florida, Auburn, or what have you, but he said him and Kirby are tight. Him, Kirby, and Saban, them three run together.
It's not necessarily knowing the scheme. It's about having the Jimmys and Joes. That's why we're able to run what we want to run because we got certain body types and certain places that allow us to literally do almost what we want to do. You can have someone that has the same exact scheme, but just because they got a player that's 6'2" and our player is 6'5", we're gonna be able to make a. Football is a game. It's a game of inches.
For sure.
And I'd rather have a tall, big, long guy running fast than the short guy running fast.
But I will say this is that that he learned under Kirby Smart because Napier was playing the long game and knew he was going to get an SEC team one day. He didn't know if it was Florida or Auburn or LSU but he played the long game.
And this guy recruit like Kirby Smart.
He's up there. We're number 3. I mean, we're number 3, and we have a stellar defensive class. I mean, the kid is up there. I mean, and you know what excites me is he's a lot like Kirby. He's high energy. I mean, we call it third advisor now because of him, because of Kirby always wore the visor and he's high energy and everything. And I'll tell you, a lot of people that are like, oh, well, Napier hates, Saban and Smart. They don't hate each other. They literally are in a group chat. Like that's how dumb fans are. They're in a group chat together. They send coaches to each other.
All right.
They
well, here's the
literally have a
deal. I
young
don't know. I
intern,
don't
and
know who's
they'll
going to win
send it.
between that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's I mean, he was at
Jimmy.
Alabama for a second.
I like this. Jimmy says, Jimmy, football's a game of inches. That's why I don't like 5'9" quarterbacks or cornerbacks. He's saying, yeah, I get you, man.
Okay.
Look,
gotta have some body types, man. You know, I don't care about knowing the scheme. You got to have the personnel.
Right. Look, we're going to find out a little bit about that in the end. To finish off that, I've got USC. You guys have Utah and I've got USC as overrated. You've got
little Sunbelt Billy. Okay, yeah, that's mature.
Okay, Sunbelt Billy. Yeah, everybody talks Sunbelt Billy. Come on now. All right.
Yeah.
Moving on. The SEC. Who's overrated? Shawty.
Who's overrated?
Tennessee.
By a long, they're a flash in the pan. They lost their quarterback. They lost most of their receivers. Hyatt has never, or not Hyatt. Hyatt was their receiver. Their head coach defense has gotten worse every year under him. I don't believe him
on my show.
Are
you really gonna do that?
I am. The defense is terrible. Yeah, they score a bunch.
Talk shit about Josh Heupel on an Oklahoma show.
It's a Big 12 offense. That's all it is.
I'm just giving you shit. Yeah,
and they got a Big 12 defense that can't stop nobody. They can't stop. They couldn't whip yourself out of a wet paper sack. They're so bad.
Until you prove you can play some damn defense, you ain't playing no defense. That's it. And the SEC,
they're USC.
They've done that.
And when they at 9.5 this year, 8.5.
Yeah, I still think a lot of people think they're going to win 10 games because of the.
They have to go into
you got to go to Alabama now. Look, man, and all these people that are acting like Alabama's going to suck all of a sudden. Are you crazy? Their whole damn. I mean, think about their freaking. Their talent roster is either number 1 or number 2 in the country.
Yeah, minus Georgia. Yeah, for sure.
So I don't buy it. Is their quarterback situation great? No, but they probably have the best offensive line, and they're going to run the shit out of the ball, which suits Nick Saban just fine.
And they got some studs on defense.
Yes, they do. And they're going to run defense the way that he wants to run it too, because they got their old defensive coordinator back over there. Hey, people that are putting Saban in the grave all of a sudden, I think you're out your mind, man. I think it's a bit early, right? I think they lost 2 games by a total of 2 points last year.
But listen, you would think they lost 5 games.
Oh no, that's just
they lost 2 games, and it's just like the world has went to hell.
Yeah,
you're right.
Alabama fans are like, I don't know what to do. We gotta burn them at the cross. I don't know.
They fired both coordinators over it. And
oh my god.
Hey, bro, I knew the OC was gonna have it coming. Like he just was this, they
lost with that offensive coordinator. And Bryce Young was the reason that they were good enough last year to stay in all those games.
And they don't have a quarterback this year known.
I don't know that you don't have a known quarterback, but they've got talent there. They got talent there, man. Georgia doesn't have a known talent there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I feel a little bit.
Tells me,
Georgia has a top.
It's gonna be fine. You know what I mean?
Georgia. I don't give a shit. Georgia has a top 5 defense. You can throw me back there and I'll win you some games.
I'm ain't far behind now. I'm top 7 or 8.
Georgia, no. I'm sorry. From a Florida fan, Georgia's walking on water with their defense. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say it. Georgia's walking on water, and the rest of us are mere mortals. I'm just saying it. Their defense is unreal. From a Florida fan, Alabama isn't close. Florida isn't close. Auburn
so you don't think Alabama is close?
They're not close. They're not. Okay. I don't give a shit. How many the draft picks? You've had 25 draft picks in the last 3 years in the first round. Georgia is
they've also recruited number 1 in the country all but like 2 years out of the last 10.
I don't care. Smart has it dialed in from a Florida fan.
But you can't deny
they don't have to play freaking smart until they get to the championship
Will
game.
Anderson's the only guy they had drafted in the first round last year.
Oh, good.
How many
Lord.
Georgia fans?
All right.
How many Georgia?
All right.
How many
Overrated team.
in the last 2 years? How many Georgia? A bunch.
Hey,
6, 7,
we
8,
ain't
9,
doing this.
10.
Hey, you said so. You got Alabama as your overrated team.
No, I got Tennessee as my overrated team.
Okay, so we're not. Then let's move on. Underrated teams in the SEC. We'll just go backwards and go back the other way.
4.5. Florida. I think Florida with 4.5.
Okay. Why?
I would have to say why. We got improved quarterback and Mertz. I think he's not gonna lose you games. He's not gonna win you a bunch of games on his arm. Yes. What? I think Austin Armstrong. I think Austin Armstrong is a hell of a coordinator coming from the University of Georgia and a small stint at Alabama, and he got Southern Miss, the nasty bunch, back to a top 25 defense in the matter of 2 years. I think he is a prolific coach. I think he knows how to recruit. Yes, I said Mertz. Get over it. So the thing with Mertz is I will say this. Mertz went to the University of Wisconsin because he loved Paul Chris. And that should not have been his pick because they are run heavy offense. And then the wide receivers, when he would get pressure, the offensive line was built for run game. They were not built for pass. And they would run deep drags. And it would be 3rd and 12, and they'd expect him to deliver. Well, we all know the pass rush is on 3rd and 12. So I think he does better than what Anthony does last year. I think he wins us more games. I think that Florida is the underrated team in the SEC by far.
Yeah, I don't think so. But we'll move on. Underrated for you, Shawty.
Kentucky.
Woo. What? Why?
Kentucky?
Because I
they
think
got that transfer quarterback.
That's what I'm getting at. If they can get that quarterback position figured out this year, I like Kentucky. I really do in terms of being underrated. I really think they have a chance at being the second place team in the East if they get the quarterback situation figured out.
Shout out to Sip and Sooner in the chat real quick. Shout out to Sip and Sooner in the chat, man. We have been enjoying your show, my friend. Can't wait to have you on here soon. Just wanted to say hello to him real quick. Hey, yeah,
but if they don't, how many games do they win if they don't get the quarterback situation figured out?
That's maybe
these years. How many times they beaten Florida now in a row?
Like 2 years in a row. We beat them 38. So don't even start. Don't start right now, bro. We're 38 years in a row we beat them. We pummeled them. So they won like 2 or 3.
They own your ass right now. They're your daddy.
No, they don't. They don't own nothing.
You don't think they underrated at all, Jay?
I think they kind of are.
I think they got a solid defense that's hard to play.
Yeah,
but the quarterback play is going to be the question.
A little underrated though too.
They lost Smoke. They lost their both running backs, and I just don't know what they're going to bring back in wide receivers.
They're going to play defense there. Hey, look, the one thing that they do every year is play defense and run the football. Yeah. And you know damn good and well that they brought in somebody to run the ball. They're going to be fine there. But yeah, I don't know that you necessarily underrate them. I think they probably. I don't see there's any way in hell that they finish at the top of the freaking East.
No, well, we know they're not going to finish at the top. Now, what you mean by?
But I mean, what's I think what's the best they finish there? 3rd?
I think they can be number 2 if the quarterback position is figured out.
Okay.
That's why I got Tennessee overrated and them actually underrated.
Who do you have 3?
Tennessee.
I would say it just.
No, he doesn't have.
I mean, it could go several different ways. I think South Carolina, Florida, or Kentucky could finish at 3.
Okay. So you're not South Carolina.
Not even an SEC team, bro. Come on, Shawty, you know that.
Well, it depends what Spencer Rattler you get. If you get the the
I'm
Right.
tell you what Spencer. I'll tell you what Spencer Rattler you're gonna get. The trash one. The one every time they play somebody that matters.
Fan.
Hey, I watched
he showed a lot of play. He had some moments last year, man. If he can capitalize and continue to grow in there, I really think he can win South Carolina some games.
Okay. I don't.
Because of talent, yeah,
hey, look, I'm gonna tell you that he's got the big arm. He can play, but he's fragile, man. The dude is fragile between the ears. Let's just put it that way. And I mean, look, they weren't in that game for 10 damn seconds against Georgia last year.
Oh my gosh,
10
Hank.
damn seconds.
You see how he carved up Tennessee, don't you?
Hank, I thought that was the Cody you liked.
Yeah. But what did he say? What did he say? Hank,
he said
will be fifth, Cody. Get ready.
Yeah.
And you realize he always calls it FU instead of UF.
Yeah, right? I get it.
All right, that's all Rattler has is some. And look, he's got some game, man. The problem is that he ain't got it up between the ears. It's just always.
What do you think Auburn does this year?
I think that they may be a bit underrated because I don't know. I think that with Hugh Freeze, here's one thing I'll say about him. The dude, he's beaten Nick Saban more than any coach in the freaking league over there.
You think that's why they hired him?
Absolutely. That's why they hired him. He's beaten Nick Saban more than freaking Kirby has. Kirby's only
Did they also have administrative changes at Auburn? Because if they didn't get rid of that president or the AD,
there was some weird stuff going on there. I don't know, and I think
they just had a big flip in a commit.
They really wanted Kiffin. I think they really wanted Kiffin, but Kiffin thinks he's got a shot at the Alabama job, and so
Kiffin.
You're not getting it if you
Kiffin's
take the Auburn job. You never become.
Listen, Miss paying the man $9 million.
Yeah, Kiffin's the world's best salesman ever.
He
goes and loses the Egg Bowl,
didn't he? Or 5 out of the last 6, some crap like that.
He loses the Egg Bowl and then turns around and gets a big old pay extension. I don't know how he does it. He's just, I don't know. He's got
$9 million to win 7 games.
The fleecer that he's got.
First, Auburn wins 10 games, or their precious trees get burned and poisoned again. Sean, it's always good to have the troll back in here, man. I'm glad to see you. I don't know, man. I don't know that they win 10 damn games. I'll say they might be a tad underrated. I don't know how underrated. I think they're a couple of years away. Now, they did go out and get him a quarterback that looks decent, but he looked decent in the Big Ten. So I don't know what that really means. To me, I think the underrated team is probably, we were talking Lane. I think it's Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss. I think that they've got an opportunity to do something. They've beaten LSU. They've got some defense there too. They're not. Lane is. I think the dude is underappreciated as a coach.
I think he's overappreciated. I think he's the world's best car salesman ever.
I think he's underappreciated, bro.
What they finish in the West, Jason? Ole Miss.
I think they've got him picked probably to finish around 4th or 5th. But what has he got him at here? I feel like probably because I think the overrated team. The more I look at it right now, I'm not too sure that I think the overrated team could be LSU. I don't know that I like Jaden Daniels, but he's another guy that hasn't been healthy a whole season.
Travis,
he's the same cat, man. And look, I think that they're they're the best team in the West aside from Alabama. But I also watched them lose to Texas A&M last year, bro.
Who? LSU?
Yeah. I watched them lose to A&M, and A&M is a dumpster fire. So I don't know that I trust LSU. I think they're they're another one of those. They could be really good, or they may not be, and it could go either way real quick with them. You know what I mean?
I really think LSU. They got rid of they had some bad seeds on that team last year. There were some very good players. And I think with those guys being gone, I just think the coach is going to have a lot better control. They're going to be a lot more stabilized. They're going to play more disciplined football. That's what they was missing. They just wasn't disciplined at all.
They got the best linebacker in the nation, too.
Mm-hmm.
And Perkins.
Well, but changing positions. Last year he was just able to just basically see quarterback, go get quarterback.
True.
Yeah.
Now he's going to have to actually be reading keys and playing linebacker.
So you think?
I wonder how much that.
Take a step back, maybe a little bit. Is that what you're saying? Is that person?
Yes, it's very possible. Yes, because now he's going to actually have to play linebacker. Last year they just didn't go get the quarterback.
Yeah.
I see let the athleticism take over. It's going to be a different ball game when you got to actually read keys and play the linebacker position. So it'll be interesting to see
the quarterback and the defense kind of do. Yeah.
So he may slip down to a mid-tier linebacker then. Like just a
I
guy.
think the guy's still talented, right, Cody? I think he's really talented. I think that. I feel like what you're looking at. I think if you're gonna have, you could have a sophomore slump type of deal with this team as they're building it. Now, I think that as much as I'm not a fan of Kelly, I think he's a good coach, and I think they're going to be a pain in the ass for years to come. I don't know that this year is their year to really do it. I think it. Last year everybody was the sexy pick was A&M and they all that shit. And what did they do? They won 5. Now, if they let Petrino cook a little bit, they could do really well. But
he won't though. Won't let him cook.
They backup quarterback could be better than Dang.
That's true. Yeah, he can spin it. We know he can spin it, right? We know he can spin it.
But do you think that Jimbo's ego allows Petrino to cook?
No, I don't. That's why I didn't call them underrated. That's why I didn't call them underrated, because I think they're right where they should be, not there. In fact, if anything, they're overrated. Why they're in the top 25 is beyond me.
Yeah,
because they didn't show us shit. Other
and
than
half their recruiting class skedaddled. So you had a number 1 class like 2 years ago, but half of them are
still recruiting very, very well. Defensively, they're going to be one of the best teams in the SEC on defense, no doubt, because they got it in the trenches. They do. So, all right. Now, underrated. We'll go back to Pac-12 real quick. Underrated. Just give me one, and we'll move on so we can get back to the ones we care about.
Pac-12.
I already gave my underrated.
You gave underrated was You had Oregon State. Underrated for you there, buddy.
I gotta go Oregon State again.
Me too.
Yeah,
I think we're all 3 right there. All right. To the Big Ten, underrated. This is tough.
Illinois.
No.
I'm gonna go Illinois. I'm gonna go Illinois with the defense.
Man, that's bullshit.
For sure.
Go ahead. Shawty, you got an underrated team, right? Let me tell you why it is in Illinois real quick while you think about it. It ain't. Because that dude has been overrated as a coach for a damn long time. Okay. I am not a fan. Not a fan. And look, they go and win a bunch of games.
Wisconsin? No way. Wisconsin's overrated, bud.
I think Wisconsin's a bit underrated by you, but I don't think they're underrated. They're in the top 25. So
I
can't.
I think
Nebraska. Oh my God! Now we're Nebraska underrated.
Cracker. Hey, he believes in Matt Rule apparently. Iowa underrated. Oh no, they're in the top 25. They're overrated. Get out of here with that. They may have scored 25 points last year.
All on offense, 25 points.
Tanner Mordecai.
Georgia scored more in 2 quarters than they scored in all year in offense. I swear to you.
Underrated, maybe. Maybe Wisconsin, but I don't really think so. I think that if you're underrated, and I don't have an underrated team in that.
You wouldn't be ranked that high if you was underrated.
I don't have it, man. I don't have an underrated team.
I'm gonna go Illinois. Illinois will crack the top 25.
I'll just say Indiana then. Shit, who gives a? I think that's all crap. I think it's all crap.
Indiana's not gonna do anything.
They're all trash, dude. Yeah,
Purdue's good for a top 25 upset.
I'm saying Brett Bielema's not that. Who will always be a dude to me. His defense was the reason K-State beat the hell out of OU in the 03 Big 12 championship in KC. Yeah, he's a good defensive coach. I'll give you that.
Rutgers. Oh,
Rutgers. So who said Rutgers? No way.
Rutgers is way underrated. The laughing face. Rutgers.
Maryland. Rutgers. No, we're just laughing. We're just fun.
Just end it. Just end
Underrated ACC. Let's go. Underrated ACC.
Oh.
I got Pitt. I'm gonna say Pitt.
Pittsburgh. Man, you took
Yeah,
my
I gotta-
on Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Pitt. I gotta go Pitt too.
Phil Dracovis, man. Phil Dracovis.
Where's
quarterback
Notre Dame
coming in this year? I think that they won 9 games a year ago. They've got them picked to rank. I think they've got them picked to win, to finish 4th in the league. They won 9 games with a quarterback that wasn't that good. They've got a real deal quarterback now in Phil Dracovic. I think that they've got, and I think that they are underrated at coach and everywhere else. Pitt is a real program, and I mean we just talked about Florida State earlier being overrated. They went down there and beat the shit out of Florida State 2 years ago. They didn't get them last year, but I mean, Coach I had said something earlier. I feel like when you start looking at Florida State, you got to go and show us that you can beat North Carolina State or Wake Forest before we start talking about Clemson. You know what I mean? I don't want to hear all that. But I think that Pitt has done that. They've shown that they can win that league.
Their program has turned the corner for sure.
I kind of have to agree with some of the chat too with Louisville.
Louisville's a nice
new
one.
Staff, recruiting well. I mean,
I like that.
They got a nice stadium there.
They improved by getting rid of Satterfield. He's at Cincy now, so that worked out. Well, I don't hate that.
Who we got left?
I don't hate that. Duke. Hey, you know what? They might be a little underrated, but I think a lot of people are kind of high on them. Kansas beat the brakes off them last year, though. Sooner, I don't know.
Duke gonna do what Duke do, man. They're not doing nothing special.
No,
right?
They're like North Carolina to me, about the same. They just. Every time I flip on North Carolina game, every time I flip on a North Carolina game, they're getting blown out by a team they shouldn't. Like every time, I'm like, golly, is this team? Does this team ever win? Like you have relevance, but golly.
Last week saying that I think that they're going to beat South Carolina, but I actually think South Carolina might win that one.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah.
We just need some football.
All right. Let's move on to this. All right. Which ranked team that is playing an unranked team goes down first? We're not going to talk about LSU, Florida State. One of them got to lose, right? Which ranked team takes one on the chin first? Okay.
To an unranked team?
Yeah.
Yeah. Utah for me.
Oh, yeah.
Utah? Okay.
Utah in the Florida game, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, with a gimp quarterback, or if he even plays, and if not, they're on their third string. With a revamped aggressive defense, I'm just saying Utah. Like they can say, oh well, you can't acclimate to the air here or whatever. I don't give a shit. I think Florida goes and hangs 14-21 on them, and they have nothing in the tank for us. That's
okay.
My personal opinion.
Okay.
Especially if Rising isn't playing. If Rising's not playing, or if he is and he's a gimp and can't roll out of the pocket, I think that defense is going to send. Austin Armstrong learned under Kirby Smart. He's gonna send the house, and he's gonna break him in the first quarter.
Is there any chance that JT Daniels beats Texas?
He will break him.
You don't lose to food, according to Josh Pate, but could it happen? All right. No, I got you on that. What do you think? Shawty, you got the same?
Yeah, I'm rolling that game. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go TCU. I think TCU gets beat by Colorado.
Will they lose to Colorado?
Yeah. Week 1.
Oh, one and what?
Hey man, I might take that jukebox bet.
I think that's
I
think that when you look at quarterback, there ain't no doubt about who's better. I think it's Shador. I think and look, and part of it is because I think that hangover is gonna be real. You got the shit kicked out of you in front of God and everybody. 67 freaking points got hung on you. And that was with a good defense and a bunch of freaking super seniors. They ain't got it no more.
Yeah, they
I
lost
think
a
they're
lot of
overrated. I
players.
think they're
And
freaking
Duggar.
overrated. I'm telling you, man. I don't know that it's going to happen, but I would not be that damn surprised.
You think it's going to be close?
You lost the game.
You think it's going to be like
close no matter what? I just
3
don't think
points?
I would not be surprised if TCU lost it. And they're getting 15. I mean, shit, they're damn sure going to cover.
Yeah,
I almost want to take that cover.
I knew Jimmy was going to come in here and say that. I knew you were going to say that, Jimmy. That's all right. I feel you, man. North Carolina.
I don't know about that one, Cole. Jason, that's a little bit of a stretch right there for me.
All right, well, I'll give you another one. Let's see. Let's go with. No, I'm gonna have to look at their schedule real quick. Oh no, well, another possible one because I think this is a real one. It'd be, we were just talking about Bo Picks. Texas Tech gets them at home week 2. They're not ranked.
Yeah,
Oregon is.
Yeah, I can see that.
Well, who's Oregon play week 1?
Nobody.
Nobody.
Food. Let me see. I'll look again.
So there's no chance.
Yeah,
of Oregon
Portland
losing
State.
that.
Portland State. They're not
Okay, Jesus Christ.
So,
I mean,
school
the blind.
Can they just stop playing football?
Yeah, school the blind. Is that who they're playing? Jesus.
Pretty much, yeah. Oh,
Portland
don't start with that crap. The SEC does that shit every year. Hush.
No. Go look at Florida's schedule. See if we do it. We don't do it like that. Not Portland State.
All right. Well, we'll see, man. Chandler Morris will carve them up, though. Yeah, maybe.
Hey, don't Michigan State got another $9 million coach up there too?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, $10 million. He's got a $100 million contract, bro.
Mel Tucker
at MSU. Mel's got a big one.
And nobody's talking about them though.
No, they just got to be. They just got to hang with Michigan. All right, boys, I gotta get off here.
Cody, Professor, thank you for coming on, man. I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah,
nice to meet you, man.
Appreciate you. I think this is the only time I've streamed with a Georgia fan and actually had some.
You got the wrong visor, brother.
You got the visor's in, right?
Yeah,
the visor is in. But I appreciate you guys.
I knew you guys would get along. Thank you, man. Appreciate you, Professor. We'll talk to you soon.
We'll see.
All right.
Bye.
Yep. All right, Shawty. Yep. So you think? I feel like Oregon. I mean, I'm not going to say that Oregon's going to lose for sure, but I think if we're talking who could be it, I think they're a prime candidate, right?
I'm with you on that. I like that a lot, actually. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I kind of have, they're not my most overrated, but I think they're a little overrated this year.
Oregon. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like Dan. I think that Lanny's a good coach, man. But I do think that I wasn't big on. You shouldn't have lost that Oregon State game. You're up 17 at the start of the fourth quarter, and you find a way to lose that at home.
And, and that's the thing with Dan. See, he's a new head coach, and you can see. You can see it the way he coached in several games last year that he's not ready yet. I like him. Yeah. He got to get another year or two up under his belt.
He's recruiting well, though. I'll give him that. He's doing a great job recruiting. I think another couple of years, and I think that bump in the look. The one thing about Oregon is they're not real knee-jerk reaction. Fire your coach right now. You know what I mean? They'll give you a little bit of time. It seems like so. They
were knee-jerk reaction with that contract.
A bit, yeah, yeah, a little bit. We'll see what happens, man. We're gonna find out what's gonna happen with them. But I think that I still like them better than I like SC. I think Washington is my favorite out there between them and Oregon State. I think that without Cam Rising fully healthy, I think that Utah may stumble there. And I don't think that Colorado wins the conference. I think that they're going to win some games that you may not want to deal with. And and like Hank says here, Lubbock is a nightmare place to play. I mean, it is. They get up for games like this. And it's early in the year. It ain't nothing. I mean, they're going to go out and play Wyoming. That's a tough place to go win. They're going to go win that game though. And they're going to come home and they're going to be undefeated. Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, what is he saying? Oh, you will be. Are you really doing this, dude? Get out of here with that. What about trap games? What about trap games? You got a trap game for who's a good trap game for Georgia, Shawty? There's always a trap game out there, right?
You know what? I'm gonna say this, and you know, I almost don't see it as a trap game, but I'm gonna say this just because it's early in the year, and we're gonna be done played 2 bombs before then. But South Carolina, because you know they generally play us tough. You know, and it's going to be early in the year. If you're going to catch us, it's going to be the best time to catch us in the early part of the year, especially with the quarterback situation being. I mean, we announced the starter, but with this kid not having so much under his belt, you know, this would be the best time to catch us because by week 6 or 7, we got it figured out by then.
Yeah, I think that's why I don't, as much as. I know Georgia's got to go to Tennessee, and I think that's going to be a hell of a game, more than likely. I think if you can get Milton to, listen, the quarterback, they hadn't looked good. I'm a believer in Josh's offense.
Jason?
Huh?
I thought I heard Milton lost the starting job.
He's lost it twice, actually, right? He's lost it twice, actually. What I would tell you is that I still feel like, look, I don't think that's the trap game. I was just saying, I feel like by the time it gets to that point, even though it's in Knoxville, I think Georgia goes in and wins that game.
Yeah.
Coach, you gonna come in? Let me throw it to you. Hold on. Yeah, I still feel like that's a situation where they're gonna go in there and it's just gonna be what it is, right?
And I just wouldn't consider it a trap game because just looking at the schedule, that will probably be the only, that would be one of the few teams that someone would pick to beat us. So it's not necessarily a trap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, and I can see it. I don't think it's necessary. I would see more. I mean, if everybody really thinks Kentucky's that could be in the.
I almost said that.
Yeah, I mean, let me look at UGA's schedule, but.
Only reason I didn't say Kentucky is because it was later in the season.
Right. Yeah, they're already going to be kind of. So when is their bye week?
Let me pull it up. Kentucky.
30, October 7th. Yeah. Their bye week. Let's see. Games. Shit. Let me show it all.
Let's see here. Schedules up.
It could be. It's not till late, looks like. Do they have a bye?
Yeah, I'm sure they do. They got to.
I mean, oh yeah, okay. It's after the. So yeah, the trap game would be, and it isn't. They're bye. They get the.
So that bye week is between Missouri and Tennessee.
Yeah, before the cocktail party is when it is. So it's after Vanderbilt is when you've got that. So no, they're not. that ain't no trap game. I love Cody and all. They're gonna get the shit beat out of them in that one again. Coach Roybal, welcome back. What's up, my man?
What's up, man? How's it going?
Now that's who I had is overrated right there. One of my overrated teams. How's it going, Coach?
Well, good luck to you on that one because they're gonna kick everybody's ass this year. So good luck on that one, my brother.
Hey, this is Shawty. This is the coach, Philip Roybal. He's my co-host on our show. He's a big Notre Dame fan, but he was college and big time high school coach out in Texas for a lot of years. We met a long time ago. He's my favorite, man. He's actually going to be out there in Ireland. He's going to be in Ireland watching them play Navy.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's going to be a freaking awesome trip, right? Coming up, man.
Excited.
Man, I bet.
Did Bama sign their quarterback? One of their quarterbacks?
What's that?
They did. The worst one.
Oh, okay.
What was the question?
He said, didn't Bama sign one of their quarterbacks? Yeah, actually, they upgraded at quarterback, man. They got Hartman coming out of Wake Forest. So I think Notre Dame has an opportunity. I think, honestly, if we're talking no conferences, because we didn't bring up Notre Dame and we should.
Right.
But when you start talking about an underrated team in the country, I think Notre Dame's one of them. This is the first time in a while and looking at this schedule, because we've already said I feel like Ohio State's kind of overrated. I think they can beat every team on their schedule this year, and that includes Clemson, and that includes Ohio State, and that damn sure includes USC.
Now, what did they play Ohio State at?
At home. Mm-hmm.
We have Ohio State and USC both at home.
Yep.
Yeah, we have them both at home. We
Yeah,
have Clemson.
I don't know if you can get
both. I don't see why not. Ohio State's overrated, guys.
I think you only have to win one of them, though. If you can beat, but you got to beat Clemson on the road. Then, if you go with one loss and you beat Clemson on the road, you're going to the playoff, man. That's it. I think that's going to be
just like I've said from the start of the season. You know, as we start the season here, guys, we got to win the ones we're supposed to, and then we really, if we can win 2 of the 3 big ones, then we're going to be just fine. And I'm going to tell you what. Offensively, guys, we you know, we've talked about this a million times. Last year we didn't have a quarterback that could throw to feed the starving birds, and we still had we still had Ohio State by the ass late into the game, and so
same with SC. Same with SC.
Same with SC. Hell, we're driving the ball down, and the quarterback lays the golden egg on the ground and gives them the damn ball.
Can that Pitt game be a trap game?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. I think we have a couple of trap games. I think we've got Pitt, North Carolina State. We've got Pitt, Louisville. I mean, guys, we've got a tough schedule. I don't think there's any doubt that we've got one of the toughest schedules in the country at this point. We don't have a Georgia schedule, right?
That is true. That is true. Fair enough. Fair enough.
No, I mean, let's be honest. We just, guys, our schedule this year just felt tough. I mean, it's just one of the tough ones. We've had some years that we got a pancake schedule and didn't do anything.
Yeah, but honestly, though, they play somebody they play good teams, man. Notre Dame doesn't duck anybody. I mean, that's one thing I'll say about them. They don't duck nobody.
No.
You know, because you kind of have, with not being in a conference, you got to go put somebody, or else the committee's not going to put you in. I think that if you go 2-1 in those big 3 games and you win the rest of them like you should, I think they're in the playoff, man.
What Vegas have them as? What, 8.5, 9.5, something like that?
9.5, I think.
9.5.
Let me check to make sure.
Yeah, I'm looking at the schedule, but it's tough, man.
It's a brutal schedule. It really is.
It is.
But
I mean, depending on how you look at it, because most of the games that we would consider to be tough, you guys consider those teams to be overrated. So,
right, absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more.
Season win totals. Let's see, Notre Dame.
But you're right. I think the Pitt is the one that scares me the most.
So you think the head coach is the guy to really take y'all
to Vegas?
Hey, he's the real deal, baby. We're recruiting like we've never recruited before. And Marcus has the background, guys. You know, as much as I'm not an Ohio State fan, I mean, he played in that system and he knows what it takes. And I tell you what I saw in camp this year from Marcus. He really, as he's trying to change that culture at Notre Dame, because let's be honest, we've been under Kelly, we were pretty soft. I mean, Kelly did a good job, won a lot of ball games.
I think he's a good coach, man. Yeah,
I think he's a good coach, but we couldn't beat, especially in the postseason. You know, in non-conference games, we were okay. We would compete well with people, the teams that were really good, the Georgias, the Alabamas, the Clemsons. I mean, we would compete, but once we get into the postseason, we just get our asses wore out and handed to us. And I think we were just soft. And I think that this fall, well, in the spring, and I think in this fall, I think what's really been pushed in the culture at Notre Dame is the physicality of football and what level we've got to play at to be able to play with a Georgia, to play with an Alabama. You know, and that's to me, as I've watched us play those people in the past, that they've just kicked our ass. I mean, physically kicked our ass.
But
And
I thought you guys was out coached some too, though. Granted, he was a rookie coach, you know.
well, I tell you what, our offensive coordinator that we sent to Alabama, he sucked. And
Tommy Reese.
Tommy Reese, and you know what? I like the guy. I mean, hell, he did a hell of a job at Notre Dame.
Benedict Tommy.
But he sucked as an offense coordinator. Bottom line, and so, and again, I think that I agree with you 100%. I think we were out coached.
I think Marcus has. I think you're talking about the learning curve a little bit for Marcus. Is that what you're saying, Shawty? I think.
Shawty. I hear you, Shawty.
Saw that. Early on, you saw that, but towards the end of the year, didn't they turn around and they beat the shit out of freaking Clemson? Yeah. You know, I mean, they won
South Carolina in the playoff
so
game.
I mean, that's respected though. He's the new head coach, so I mean, you go through that.
Yeah. Well, and you know, we talked about this a lot of times. You know, first time head coaches, guys, it's hell. I mean, it's tough, and especially when you get thrown into a high profile head coaching job. Wow. I mean, you got a lot of demons coming from a lot of different directions, and you've got to learn to deal with those things. And I mean, there's a lot to deal with as a head coach. But I think the Irish I think there's been a lot of head coaches, some of the past coaches like Lou Holtz and some of those guys that I think have really worked with Marcus a little bit from the outside and helping him and coaching him up a little bit, because it's a hell of a lot different being a defensive coordinator and then stepping into that head coaching position.
Well, you got to remember too, he's also worked with he worked with Lovey whenever. I mean, he played for Lovey for a little while. Yeah. So I mean, he's got guys to lean on that have been head coaches at all levels. And I just think that I think he's sharp, man. I think he is. I don't know. And my hope is that I said I feel like they can beat everybody on their schedule. I didn't say they will. I said I think they can. Yes. Whether or not they do that or not, they may not. And I wouldn't be too surprised if they did and make a playoff run this year. But I think that they're headed in the right direction is what I get at. And then I think you could be right, Shawty. He may be a year or two away from being that guy, right? But he's recruiting different.
I would agree with that.
Seen them recruit at Notre Dame in a long time, right? You just haven't seen them getting a bunch of those guys. They might get one or two, but he's getting dudes, man. He's getting
so you know what's also important about that? I'll say this right here. You know, we've gotten dudes for a very long time. The key is when you get those dudes, you have to be able to develop them. You got to be able to develop them and keep them.
That's exactly right, Shawty.
The game is their defense, though, and that's what he is a defensive guy.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best thing about him. As much as I like Sam Hartman, I like their young receivers. I think their running back room is unbelievable good. Yeah, but loaded. The best thing about that team is that defense, and that's what he is. That's what he was the defensive coordinator before he became head coach.
And you know, guys, for a long time we haven't had any corners that could cover anybody.
He's got big rangy dudes now.
We got two of the best corners in the country as a tandem, or and I think our linebackers are going to be solid. You know, what we need to figure out is make sure our defensive front can play a little bit, because it all starts in the trenches on both sides of the ball. And if our defensive front can sustain and play a season well, I think we're going to be okay. Offensively, our offensive line in the trenches, I think we have some monsters. Well, both of our offensive tackles probably going to leave for the NFL next year, and they're both sophomores. And so Joe Alt that plays on one side and Fisher on the other, and the bookends. And I'm telling you, they're incredible. So, and again, the running back room, like you said, Jason, we're pretty loaded.
Their number one guy is the man, right?
Yeah. Well, and I say that, people are going to laugh at me for saying this, but I'm going to tell you what, guys, there's Jadarian Price that he's I think he could be better. And I think as the year goes along, I think we're probably going to see that. He hurt his Achilles heel last year. and so he was out. But early on, he was the leading back out of all of the backs until he got hurt, and I think
So you're
he's
going to
back.
need 2 or 3 of those guys anyway to play consistently at a high level anyway.
Yes,
You do.
yes.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
I agree wholeheartedly. I think, and again, let's Sam Hartman, guys, come on. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the country.
He's definitely been the last couple of years. He's probably been the best quarterback in the ACC, right?
Oh, hands down.
Right.
Hands down
Wake Forest just wins games they're not supposed to win.
Right.
Right.
And he was part of that reason, guys.
They definitely do more with less.
They do.
Yes.
They do. And I think that he's big. He's got a big arm. I think that this is his opportunity to kind of show out a little bit and get your chance. He's probably a second, third round guy more than likely. But if you go out there and really show, he's got a big arm, man. He's got
yeah. And guys, and we all 3 of us know that's why he's at Notre Dame, because Notre Dame gives him an opportunity to showcase himself, to move himself up in that NFL draft.
Yep.
Bottom line.
Yeah, I like him. I think that Hartman, and I know that was the thought. There was some thought that Dylan Gabriel may not stay after last season because he caught hell from a lot of the fan base.
Right.
And I could see it, but that was the thought. There was okay. Well, we better go get Hartman then. Either that or find a way to go get Penix.
Right.
But that was the OU thinking it was Hartman and Penix. That was who they were thinking about. If you could go get him, right? You knew Hartman was in the transfer portal, but I don't. And obviously Penix staying where he's at. But in the end, I think is a hell of a pickup because they couldn't throw for shit. That was in as many. They won 9 games last year.
Hey, we had you look up and you can go back. I've gone back and been watching some of those games, and I'm going to tell you something. We had 11 people in the damn box, probably about 80% of the time. And I'll tell you this: if we wouldn't have had the tight end, oh no, and the other quarterback wasn't either. But if we wouldn't have had the tight end that we had, hell, we'd have really been in trouble. We wouldn't have completed maybe 10 passes for the season.
Right, Stephen. And I'm not saying that I necessarily disagree with you here, but what I'm telling you is that there was a time that we weren't sure that Dylan was coming back. Right, you got to go get somebody, and there wasn't anybody in that quarterback room that they wanted to start. And
I have to tell you, Stephen, I'm glad y'all have DG and we have Hartman.
See what y'all doing? Hey, it's getting to be season now because he's been really nice about OU all this time, all damn summer. He's been nice as hell about OU, and now the season's starting, and he's starting to take digs. And y'all are setting him up for this shit.
Hey, but they're setting me up with a big old softball to hit.
When this is new.
I got a little
let me ask you this about Jason. Let me ask you this. Art, we talked about earlier in Jason's show here, to be what we consider elite, it's great to have starters 1 through 22.
Yeah.
But do you have that 23, 24, 25, 26 guy?
Got to have depth. If
so do you see Notre Dame as a team that has depth now with the recruiting they've been doing?
We have the most depth we've had in dadgummit, Steve. You got me back there. And I think y'all just took one of our tight ends. But to your question, yes, you got to have, you got to be too deep all the way around because college football is a brutal game, and you're going to lose guys throughout the season. Now, I'll tell you this, guys: if we lose Sam Hartman during the ball game, we're in deep shit again.
Well, they've got a good recruit. They can, right?
Now,
you don't want to play a freshman, right? You don't want to play
I'm talking about right now. We got Angeli that's he's coming along. Love you too, Steve. Angeli's coming along. I think he really is. And then we have Minchie. Minchie's that ball comes off his hand beautifully, quickly, But again, he's a freshman. And you guys know the odds of a freshman coming in and being successful and taking you to the playoffs.
Look, we got the Gatorade National Player of the Year coming in as a freshman, and they don't want to play him right away.
No,
I mean, you don't want to. You hope to not have to do that. You know, if you got somebody that can get in there and get it done, that's what you want. Now, it is good to have him as the backup because we know, well, after what we saw in the Red River game last year, that there wasn't much behind him. But so it's, you know, it's good to have him there.
Sure.
But yeah, if you look, I would tell you that I'm glad that Dylan's back as well. I know not everybody's as high on Dylan Gabriel as I am. I think that he's a good quarterback. I think he's going to be fine.
I would agree.
And I think that running back room is a big reason for that too. That I think that you can expect that they're going to be balanced and be able to put some points on the board and keep the defense honest, right? You're not just
damn balance.
Yeah, man. Hey,
y'all like to jump it around, man.
Listen to this. They have one of the best running back rooms in the country, man. DeMarco Murray has been worth his weight in gold as a recruiter. He got the number one running back in the country in Taylor Tatum just earlier this year. They've got Gavin Sawchuk. They've got Javante Barnes are going to be the top two guys. That Hollywood Smothers and also you have Caleb Hicks out of Denton Ryan. They're guys that are probably going to find a way to get on the field a little bit, right? I just feel like this is a deep room. And
so Jay,
to do. Go ahead.
So let me. I think you brought up a good point, and this is what I don't think a lot of programs realize. And this is something that I know we have done. Why not do more of that? Get your own guys back in the building.
That's a great question, Shawty. That's a great question. And you know, I think Oklahoma's had a lot of guys that are Oklahoma guys, you know, or at least had some kind of connection.
I'm talking about those guys that you got on the wall when you recruit those kids and you bring them to the facility and they walk by all these pictures and all these trophies. Those type guys that have helped build that program. That's what get the players in.
Yeah, I mean, and to me, in the years that I've watched OU and, you know, been alive or whatever, I mean, I don't remember when, you know, the days of, you know, the early days and stuff like that, or the early 80s and 70s and stuff where they had great running backs then. But to me, there's been one better running back that's played at OU than DeMarco, and it was AD. Adrian Peterson. All day. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's one.
I don't care what you got to do to get him in at some time. He could be in there, Brad Church, and get him in the building.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and I agree. I think just like you said, every school that's out there, especially the dominant schools, you either have those guys in your program or you need to get them in your program because people look up to them. Although one of the things is lost there, and Jason, I think you brought it up. One of the things is lost there. Some of these kids don't even know who the hell they are anymore.
True.
I mean, because they go way back, and so. But it does. I guarantee
like Billy Sims. Hell, I don't remember watching Billy Sims. I mean, shit, that was a long ass time.
I do.
You know, but I mean, he was great. But I'm saying, as far as during my years of growing up, I mean, Joe Mixon and those guys were great.
Right.
You know, I mean, Joe Mixon's still a hell of a running back, right?
Yep.
But there wasn't nobody like Adrian Peterson. And DeMarco was just not quite that dude, but right there to me. DeMarco was unreal when he was there. Unreal. He's a bell cow guy. You know, you could give him the damn ball 30 times and he was going to go, you know. And look, all these guys love him. And Taylor Tatum, I mean, you know, I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that he's going to play baseball there as well. And that's important to him. But he said it. He said, my dad loves DeMarco Murray, period.
Yeah.
You know, they're like best friends. So DeMarco's
and his dad probably was watching him in the NFL, you know,
they're from Longview, Dallas.
Right,
you know?
That's what I'm saying. You got to get guys like that in the building. I don't care what title you want to give them.
Longview Lobos.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first game I ever coached in the playoffs against Longview at Skyline.
Hey man, Longview has a history of unbelievable professionals too. You know that. That's where Trent Williams went to school too, bro.
Hey, I think I already told you this story, Jason, but us old coaches, we like to repeat stories. But I got to tell you, I went to Skyline, and we weren't very good, and we got in the playoffs, and in the first round, we had the Longview Lobos. They were ranked number 1 in the state of Texas and number 2 in the nation. So that week, as we're preparing for games, how the newspaper guys always pick who's going to win, and hell, everybody in the newspaper column picking Longview by 50, Longview by 60. I mean, it wasn't even close. Well, hell, at halftime, we're beating their ass, boys, and they got away from us at the end of the ball game and beat us by 10. But you talk about fun football. That was my first experience with the Longview Lobos.
And you were running the 3-3-5 then?
Yeah.
Yeah. And nobody really knew about what to do with it.
Well, I tell you what we did with them at that time. They loved pulling their guards and tackles. They were a big counter trade team, and they'd run their screen game off of that same scheme. And I tell you what we did, we ran what I called the triangle defense on them that game. I set a nose guard over the center. We covered up both the guards, and then we stacked the linebacker behind the nose guard. Well, hell, every time they pulled, we were in there.
They just follow the guard. That's who give the off. They give away everything because they pulling everywhere the play go.
You could stick a fork in their ass because they were done. If they'd have done it all game, we'd have beat them. But finally, in the fourth quarter, with about 8 minutes left in the game, they finally lined up and just rammed it down our throats,
straight down your
and got away from that game. And so Coach?
It was probably a lot easier for them to block you that way. Just block the man in front of you.
Exactly. Well, and we ended up getting out of it because you're right. We talked about that on the headsets and said, hey, this is going to be easier for them to block. Let's get out of this. We went to our base defense, but still we had just been there for not even a year, and our kids weren't strong enough to fight them off in the trenches. So we were trying to outsmart them.
I
almost did.
But yeah, it was what we were getting. The whole deal is that, I mean, you Longview's the real deal. I mean, they always are every year. I mean, Trent Williams came from there. I mean, he's still the best freaking lineman in the country, in the NFL. So Trent's the man. There's another stud sooner, Trench's guy. So anyway, hey, look, I feel like it's going to be a fun season, man. I'm so glad we're talking about football. I'm not fucking recruiting right now.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we're talking about football and not recruiting. So ready, man. So ready. So what do you, all right, Shawty, are y'all going to three-peat? I asked Coach I this before. I got to ask you, y'all going to three-peat?
Well, I mean, if you took us against the field, I'm going to take us, just all jokes aside, I think the hardest thing that's going to be eating at us is complacency. It's going to be hard to get up for a lot of these teams in the beginning of the season. I think we're really going to be doing a lot of, I don't want to say experimenting, but we're going to be playing a lot of players. We're going to be giving a lot of guys looks. We're going to probably be very vanilla in the season because we're going to be figuring ourselves out. And just, battling, as my man Nick Saban said, the rat pausing and complacency. I mean, it's just tough, man, when you got 18 and 19-year-old kids with the amount of turnover that you have.
For 2 years now.
Yeah.
I've been hearing about how great they are. Yeah.
Right. And the distractions, it's going to be tough, man. That's why, I don't like to talk about this team. But, I have to give Nick Saban credit because to do what you've been doing at a high level for so long.
Yes.
That's why I said earlier today, the people that are riding Nick Saban's team, they got the best talent roster in the country.
Still, yeah.
Hey, and guys, I'm going to tell you what, when you got Nick Saban down, that's when his ass is coming back, and he's coming back with a vengeance. And I'm glad he's got the offense coordinator he does because he's not very good. But I will tell you this: they're going to run Nick Saban football there, not
Right.
the offense coordinator or anybody else's. It's
That's
going
how
to be
they do
Nick
it anyway.
Saban.
Yeah.
They've
And
always done it that way.
And Coach, that goes back to the point I was saying about complacency. Like when you have something to fight for, hey, we just lost 2 games last year.
Yeah.
For them, that's damn near like losing 7 games to someone else. So now we know we don't ate the rat paws. We know how bad everybody say we were. Now we're gonna come back with a different focus. We're gonna come back as a different Alabama program or team.
Yeah. I agree with you. And guys, that's why we don't see people three-peat. I mean,
hey,
those are the reasons.
Really even seen them get to it was the SC getting in that last championship game against Texas. And I mean, Vince Young just did his thing in that game. That's all. That was the greatest football game I've seen in my life, man. Yeah, it was. And as much as I hated it, it was the best football game I've ever seen. Right? I hated every second of it.
But it was a hell of a player. He was a hell of a player.
Vince was great, but I tell you, I think that it makes it hard. Here's the thing, though, with that schedule, and I think Kim's kind of right here. Problems that soft schedule, but you call it soft, but they do still have to get through that SEC. They've got a tough one at Tennessee. That's on the road. I mean, because Tennessee's going to put up points. They are. Yeah, they're going to put up points, and having them at home. You could see that put into a situation like Ohio State put them in last year, and I mean, there were a couple of times Shawty, I think you're right. The complacency part, because you can't tell me Mizzou stayed with them because they freaking were good enough
to get up for the game.
Exactly. Same thing with Kent State. You know what I mean? It's they didn't get up for the game. So it is, you have to deal with that stuff. And
one thing I will say too, just to kind of add to that particular point, is that in this particular era, with the turnover, the portal, NIL, all these things, man, you can turn over a roster in a season. I'm not saying you're going to jail.
That's why I think that Colorado can freaking do better than what a lot of people do, because they've got 10 guys that were on the team still there of that 1-11. 10.
And he's probably not very damn happy about those 10 either. They just
probably not.
Leave.
Yeah, probably not. He just couldn't get rid of them.
So I didn't know that there was a rule. Were you guys aware of the NCAA rule for new head coaches? I didn't know that they were allowed to come in and release players on scholarship, but they can release them, but they still get to go to school, but they don't have to. Yeah. I didn't know about that to this year.
Yeah.
I didn't really know that either. It doesn't surprise me that much. So, and they've been pushing them out anyway.
Guys, they're football players. Hell, they're not going there to go to school. Let's be honest. They're not going there to go to school. They're going there to play football and get their schooling. They're going to go somewhere else and go.
The NIL era, it's not student athlete isn't a real thing anymore. You ain't got to go to school.
Yeah, you just call them athletes now.
After really joke.
Well, now they're athletes.
I mean, hell, yeah. How many? I'm not telling you to tell on nobody. I'm saying, there was dudes that didn't give a shit about school, right? Come on, man.
I've had players. I mean, I just a quick story. I mean, I remember coming in as a freshman, and I was hanging with one of the older guys, and we were just kind of hanging. I was just kind of like, well, man, it's getting late or whatever. It got to go to class in the morning. Everything. And he's like, man, what you talking about going to class? The NFL gonna pay my bills. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. So that was my first experience of meeting someone that they came to Georgia, but they were there for football. They weren't for school.
Exactly. And that's what and we've bought into that completely. And now, like you said, the student athlete is no longer the student athlete. It's the athlete student. And the student part comes because for most of them, not all of them, because there's still those kids that come to get an education. But now we have flipped that. And instead of student athlete, it's athlete student.
Yeah, and look, I mean, I'm not saying that everybody's. I'm saying the ones that don't want to don't. So it is what it is. But and it's more of a pro model than it's ever been.
Right.
And it all. But in the end, look, there's a reason why Switzer got ran off and they couldn't be on television for like 3 freaking years. You know, I mean, that was because they were doing some crazy shit in recruiting and paying guys and stuff like that. It happens, right? It's happened everywhere, but
that shit was going on. That shit was going on everywhere in every program. And you know who got nailed for it? Little dumbass SMU down the road got nailed for that stuff. Which at the end of the day, good
Thanks
grief.
for coming in, Tippin.
So, Jason, do you realize how what you just said? I don't think a lot of people have thought about this, but it has become very professional in NFL, like because the money that these collectives have, it's almost created a salary cap. Yes, because you can't give every 5-star all the money. You literally got to keep some money to fill out your roster with 3 and 4 stars. So it's almost like dealing with a salary cap.
Yeah, it is. You're exactly right.
And like, you know, places like Texas and Texas A&M, they've got a lot more money than the other places do, right? And even Alabama. This is why, look, I've said this a lot. Nick Saban, you've seen a lot of his paranoia the last few years. You have. He was trying to get Jeff Lebby, and I feel like so was Kirby. And why? Because they know damn good and well that if you allow Brent Venables, and if they weren't like this, I wouldn't freaking respect them as much as I do. They both knew that if you could sabotage OU right now before they ever get to the SEC by taking Lebby, cut their legs out from under them on offense, and they haven't gotten the defense together yet. You know, they're getting there, but they haven't gotten there yet. You take away that offensive firepower, now what you got? And you're going to get Brent Venables fired. That's what you're trying to do. And you should be trying to do that. Again, I think
we're going to hire him as a DC, meaning somebody in the conference.
Damn Skippy. Exactly. Right. You know, I mean, think. And, you know, I got a lot of shit for that whenever all that was going on. And I was saying, oh, man, why is he trying so hard? Why is he trying so hard? Because he knows Venables' defense has kicked his ass twice in the national championship game.
Yep.
You know? So that's where it was, is that and the reason that he's so pissed off is because, hey, Saban was the best at paying under the table.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? The best. And he didn't get in trouble for it. Now everybody can do it, and there's people out there with a lot more money than what Alabama has. Right?
Well, and guys, you know, talking about this NFL looking model, which that's obviously the way we've gone. But the second piece,
hi, Coach. We'll see you later.
But the second piece to this is obviously the conferences and what's happening with all the conferences. That's also an NFL model.
Sure it is.
And so our whole
and that's all coming from the
game,
networks, Coach. That's all coming from the networks. That's the way they want that shit.
That's what I'm saying.
No doubt about it. They run the damn shit now. It's not.
They're going to control it all.
Yeah.
Well, that's what guys, I'll go off on a tangent here. College football needs to break away from the NCAA.
Thank you. The NFL. They don't need.
They need to leave everything else, all the other sports. And I'm sorry if I step on your toes, but it's a fact that college football is what brings in the money to run all the other programs.
The basketball, the Final Four
does basketball. The basketball does some, but not. I'm telling you, I hadn't seen.
They've been giving it away. They've been giving it away forever. Yeah,
right. But at the end of the day, college football doesn't need to be under NCAA rules, and they need to fix their own conferences, their regionally play regionally. You know, and I think you've got this.
That's where it's going.
Yeah, and we need to, and Jason, you know, I've talked about this previously, but you know, all those G5 schools, they need to play for a national championship and let the
here's
big
where we are.
There.
I was just fixing to say that. Is it time to push for a separate playoff bracket?
Yes.
For the group of 5?
Yes.
Okay.
Because they'll never have a chance, guys. They'll never have a chance to win.
Look, they don't have a chance now. The ones that have access don't have a fucking chance now. Let's just be real about it.
That's why I said when you do something like what they have done, the rich only get richer. It's no such thing as leveling the playing field when you're doing it.
Look, think about this. They're adding they're adding rounds. You know, TCU, they did their Cinderella thing. They won one game and they got rolled, right? Now, think about it. The SEC, they're still going to be good. They're going to be fine. They're still going to, and yes, the networks get paid a hell of a lot more money. And the SEC is going to get more than everybody else except for the Big Ten. So those two are good. And that's exactly what they're trying to do. They are flat out trying to put this into a professional model. So when you put it like that, look, yes, you give more access, and that behooves everybody. I mean, look, give them some money for being in the playoff, whatever. Truth of it being told, though, what are your chances to freaking get through 4 rounds? If you're not in one of these big, if you're not Notre Dame, that you can compete because you're making the same money as the SEC, and you're a blue blood. Right, but
how good are they sitting, not worrying about have to fight to begin in one of these mega conferences? Notre Dame just sitting back, just like, hey,
they got money. They don't. They even if they weren't getting the same contract, they're going to get $75 million when they re-up. They are.
Guys, we just got through signing $100 million contract with Under Armour. I mean, and we're fixing it, and y'all know this. We're fixing to sign another huge contract with NBC,
right?
Especially since the guy that was in charge of NBC is now going to be our athletic director.
Exactly. Think about it. So there you go. That's the whole point. It's the rich getting richer, and that's all it is. You've got all these programs that are going to continue to make. You know, it's never been about letting the little guy compete for a championship. And if you think it is, then you're full of shit, because that's not what it is. It's never been. And it's haves and have-nots. Coach I's been saying that, haves and have-nots. That's what it is. And that's, you know, thankfully for us, we all root for teams that are halves, you know?
Yeah.
Oklahoma hadn't done it in a while, but they're a half. You know what I mean? And that's what I was giving stat guy all that.
You did the same cut of that pie from that conference, so you doing okay.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I mean, even Texas, as much as they haven't done shit for a long time, they have the ability to do so, right? They have money.
As soon as they get a new head coach, they'll have a better ability.
It's about getting the guy in, and that's what I always say when you play in these type of conferences. It's not why if I'm in the conference and we all getting 35 million, why do I have to be the team that's at the bottom? It's something inside or internally that I need to change so I can compete just like the school that's 70 miles down the road.
Look, it was hard. It was a hard deal to do, though. I mean, think about it. Mark Richt was winning 10 games a year. Shawty, Coach I was on this show. No, and that's what I'm saying. You have to take, if you want to win the big thing, and, you know, Saban talked about it for a long time. They ever get the right guy at Athens, we're fucked. You know, he knew. So, look, man, it's one of those programs. Same thing. Look at Clemson. I don't remember thinking of Clemson ever growing up. Ever. They weren't. I mean, when was the last time they were good before that? 30 years ago. You know what I mean? Before they got good this past.
I don't remember them.
Like 2014. I don't remember them.
And I'm old.
Yeah, listen, they just weren't. But they're in that right area of the country, and you have the right money backing them up and the right facilities. Then you get the right coaches, and then you get Dabo and you get Coach Venables, and they can recruit the way that they can.
You build it, they will come.
Damn right. And I mean, Clemson. If you've ever seen that camp, it's unbelievable there. It's unfreaking believable there. Beautiful place.
See, that's what people don't realize. Once you get the right guy, the administration gets behind you. And once you have the administration behind you, it's all go. Gas to the pedal.
You said it, brother, because if you don't have administrative support, I don't give a shit who you are. I don't care if you're Nick Saban. If you don't have administrative support, then you're not going to be successful. And
no doubt.
I'm going to be honest. I truly believe this. And, you know, they're right down the road from us. I love Notre Dame. I mean, not Notre Dame. I love Texas Tech. But Texas Tech, they have dabbled so much in being and wanting to be a basketball school, that football's kind of secondary there. Where
because they never won in football, Coach.
Well,
it's just they never won in football.
They've won some, Jason. If you go back and look, they won a little bit. But at the end of the day, that's another thing. There's not a lot of schools, and that number becomes even smaller when you start talking about schools that win at both sports,
That's
basketball and football.
Sure,
So, you know, again, but the administration is the key, and what direction are they going to go, and how are they going to support? Because if they don't support, you can't win diddly.
Tech has shown that they're getting behind McGuire. I think Tech is a problem as long as they can keep him, right? If they can keep McGuire, because he may be. I think that I hope that
they can't keep him.
I hope that hell he don't end up at Texas, man.
They can't keep him. That's where he'll go. He'll go to a Texas or someplace like that.
Money? Why they can't keep him?
Yeah,
money.
Yeah, I mean,
well, and again,
Texas,
the commitment.
Look, I mean, it's not that Tech doesn't have money; they just don't have Texas or Texas A&M money. I mean, you're talking oil, you know, and just, I mean, it's just rich, you know. But yeah, I don't
have Texas money. They don't have Texas money.
No, and they don't have the SEC. Let's be real.
Right.
If you want to go win a national championship, you got to go to the SEC.
Just like Joey McGuire, you know, you win some state championships in Texas at Cedar Hill, and then you move over to Texas Tech. You turn that sucker around. Well, what's your next step, guys? You going to sit there at Texas Tech? You ain't going to win a national title at Texas Tech. You may be good, and you may compete, but you're not going to win a national title.
I think they could get to the playoff, but I think that there's a ceiling for sure. There's a ceiling for sure. And the Big 12, listen, the Big 12 is now, I mean, I think they have a competitive league. I think that their league is better than, I'll tell you, I believe that their league right now is better than the Big 10. I don't like the Big 10. A lot of parity, right? A lot of parity.
A lot, yeah.
But I think that when it comes to hoop, there's nobody close to them. You've got teams scattered around the country that can compete with them, but on a day in, day out basis, you ain't touching the Big 12 in basketball. And that's why they're going to stay relevant, is because they are going to be that good at hoop. You know, they're going to win 4 out of every 5 national championships probably. And they just added more talent there. So, I mean, they're going to stay where they are. And I think that that's why there can be some teams that can compete out of the Big 12. But in the end, if they're able to sell basketball separately, I think there's things that they have to do in order to do that. In the end, are you able to keep those coaches around forever? Because I think I don't think if Sonny were to turn around and do it again, go back to a playoff again within the next couple of years, can TCU keep him? Probably not.
No. Guys, and you know,
TCU's got a lot of money. That's a private school. You know?
Sure. But I'm telling you, coaches, especially these young guys that are coming through and moving up the ladder, guys, you're not going to keep them. You're a stepping stone for those guys. They're moving on up, and they want to be in the SEC. They want to be at Alabama. They want to be at Georgia. They want to be at those places.
I just want to say this to be fair real quick, is that Joey has said he wants to be there. He doesn't want to go anywhere. Now, I know they all say it, but I want to put that out there, that this isn't necessarily we're guaranteeing anything here or there. Maybe he doesn't care about money as much as we think he does. But there's a number. Everybody's got a number, though, that, look, everybody's got a damn number. I don't give a shit who you are. Your daughter graduated there. So what? 150 million? You're gonna turn that down? I don't think so. Right? You go to a playoff or two, and again, him already have been. He was the Texas High School Coaches Association president. That's a huge thing, Coach. I mean, how big is that in the state of Texas? That many coaches. Hell, class 6A has 2 divisions, 250 schools in Texas. That's a shit ton of coaches, man.
Yep. And guys, it's just and guys, coaches. I'm gonna whisper this because probably not many people know, but coaches have friggin' egos, big friggin' egos. Okay,
that's what I tell people about Kirby all the time. They're like, "Well, he'll never leave." Okay,
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
He want to know he can do it, be the best at the top of the best.
That's
And once you don't get it, so, but I ain't mean to cut y'all. Go ahead, Coach. Sorry about that.
No,
but
you're
ego
fine.
is right, though. I think you're right on the money and ego and everything else. If you're going to tell me that hey, and look, somebody in the president, somebody up high tells Kirby no about something, he could leave. Hey,
okay. I'm just going to throw out
national championships.
I'm going to throw out a hypothetical for you here. Okay. So Joey McGuire at Texas Tech. We got Kirby Smart at Georgia. Well, at Georgia, what the fans there are saying is, what have you done for me lately? So you better keep winning national titles. Because that's the first thing that happens when you don't win that next one. What Coach the hell happened to him?
How long did they get rid of his ass? 2 years after his championship. Gone.
That's that sandwich I'll be talking about, Jason.
Get your ass out.
You get tired of eating that same sandwich. I don't care how good it was last week.
Exactly. Yeah. All of a sudden, you got stupid. Now, all of a sudden, you've got, let's say Kirby has a couple of losing seasons. He's out of Georgia. And I'm Joey McGuire, and they call me because I've really done a hell of a job at Tech. You want to tell me I'm not going to go to Georgia?
I'm going.
They're going to pay me a hell of a lot more. And now that's that next level school.
I got better toys to play with.
Everything. You've got everything better. So, guys, every coach has a price.
Sure he does.
And every school, every coach has that ego of, I want to go be the head coach at Alabama, at Georgia, wherever that might be, that are big time schools. So,
and when you do it big time in college, the next step is to the NFL. I don't care who you are. Coaches got egos.
Amen, brother.
Oh, yeah.
Lincoln Riley's headed to the NFL, whether he wins or he doesn't win.
Well, that's because he's been found out, man. We already know about that shit.
But he's still going.
Exposed.
He worked that ladder though, didn't he?
Sure he did. And he knows when to jump ship. That's all there's guaranteed. He knows when the man is being exposed. He was exposed last year by Witt, and it just upped the time frame. You got to go win it now or get the hell on. Because
he put you in the mind of the guy from I can't think of his name now, from Texas Tech that went to Arizona.
Kingsbury.
Yeah, Kingsbury.
Yeah.
Cliffy.
Yeah.
Cliffy boy.
Yeah, and he went and hired him instead of another defensive coach. We just won the Heisman. Let's go get us another offensive mind to go with mine.
Right.
We can't stop nobody. But let's go get it. Let's go get Cliff to come help out.
But guys,
I don't understand.
Here, I'll help you understand.
Why anybody thinks SC is going to be worth a shit is beyond me.
But let me tell you, why did he go hire Cliffy? Why did he go do that? Because, guys, that's his. Well, that's part of what's going to help him take that step up, because Cliff knows all those guys in the league. Yeah. He's gonna take a quarterback, a Heisman quarterback, to the league. Now, instead of having just a Heisman quarterback, now he's got a guy that's been a head coach in the league, and those two things are going to help propel him into the league. That's why he hired.
Maybe both of them.
Shit.
Yep.
I love it, man. This is good talk, and we're not talking about recruiting. We just went 2 hours and 20 minutes, and we haven't talked about recruiting. We're not gonna, so we're good there. I'm excited about that. Look, hey, Shawty, man, I appreciate you coming on the show, man. I really do.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
Nice to meet you too.
Absolutely, great to meet you, Shawty.
So listen, we're gonna go ahead and got the dog here wants to go eat, so he's up on my lap and won't get. And he's 100-pound dog already. So
put that killer up.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, listen, we've been going a while here. Look, we're gonna go ahead and we will be back on Tuesday live show, and then Thursday we're gonna do another roundtable as well. Talk about some of these things. I'm gonna get Coach I on here along with some other folks from around the Big 12 and around the country. We're gonna talk about some of these same issues, but Tuesday night we'll be live again with the coach. You'll be here Tuesday, right?
I'll be here with you on Tuesday. I won't after that because we're headed out.
I know you're leaving Wednesday for yep. So
I'm gonna go have a Guinness or two.
Right? That's gonna be a cool trip, man. What a trip, man. That's gonna be a cool ass trip.
Hey, our 39th wedding anniversary, man.
39.
You know what I tell her all the time. I don't know how I put up with your shit this long.
He's bullshitting his ass off too. Shit, that woman is a saint to put up with his ass for all these years.
It's the opposite. I mean, but I have to say it though. But it's quite the opposite.
That's why they call her the better half.
I make sure I'm gonna make sure I say that every time because just so everybody knows that it wasn't me, Christy, that said that shit. So, but anyway, Shawty, man, we appreciate you coming in again. And if you want to jump on with us on Thursday or whenever, man, you just let me know and we'll get you a link. So appreciate it. I love your insight, man, coming from being in the program and stuff like that, man. It's
great insight.
Yep. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and hey folks, if you haven't hit that like button, and we've been going 2.5 hours, you guys better hit that like button. We got 28. Yeah, we got a few more. We could if you hadn't hit it though, please do. If you're not already a subscriber, man, please do become a subscriber. Shawty, tell everybody how to find you. What's the name of your podcast again?
Oh yeah, man. I'm live every Wednesday night at 9:00. It's called Just My Damn Opinion. I tell everybody opinions like assholes. Everybody got one, and I got one too. So you just chime in, man. I talk about a little bit of everything. You know, I call it barbershop talk. I talk about sports. I try to stay away from politics and religion, but you just never know what I'm gonna be talking about. I talk about whatever's going on.
I love it. Hey, Shawty, the only thing I'm just gonna give you a tip though. Don't put these guys down that ladder because I'm telling you, they're going to be up. Just a tip.
Hey, look, coach, that's why we play the game.
You're right, my brother.
Hey, no doubt about it. But hey, yeah, check out his show. It's a lot of fun. I watched his show last night actually. I was like, man, I can't find that damn thing. So I put in your whole name and it popped it up. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. So yeah, it's
I've only been doing about a month or so I'm fairly new.
Nah, real cool, man. And if you need any help with any of that kind of stuff, I know you got Coach I that he does a lot of graphics and stuff, but I have no problem. I can help you out with some of the SEO and some of the different stuff like that to just kind of help move it along a little bit. We all in this together and we enjoy it. But
well, that's what makes it nice for me. All I do is bring my fat ass in here and sit down. Jason does everything else.
Bishop Frank, welcome in, man. We appreciate you coming in. Boomer.
Coach Smart, man. That's all.
Yep. Yeah, thanks for becoming a member there, Neilio. We appreciate that. And hey, Sooner Ninja, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Everybody enjoyed the show. Hey, man, we're enjoying it too, man. Hey, it's freaking football season, folks. It is football season. We just had our last weekend without college football until the end of the year. So let's do it. I'm excited. I'm so excited for the season coming up. Thank you guys so much for coming in and supporting us. We do this all for our audience. We love you guys, and I appreciate it. If you would like to become a member of the Mafia, please jump on there right there at cfb-pod/join. Hey, man, you can get more of us through our link on, we have our, what am I talking about? Oh, our Discord, and then you get discounts on some of the other stuff. Man, it's just a great way to support the channel, get more access to us. But we appreciate everybody coming in. Check out that. Definitely check out our Hall of Fame partner store with Fanatics to get your gear for the upcoming season, man. Up to 65% off just for using our link to do it. Then we got official podcast merchandise for all you OU fans. Hey, respect the hedges. That's the other place you find Shawty too, man. Make sure that you guys are checking out Respect the Hedges. That's a Tuesday night show as well. I watched that last week where you had your little belt over the shoulder. Hey, man, they have a fun ass show. That Respect the Hedges show is a blast. Love that show. But yeah, man, make sure to respect the hedges. Check out our official podcast merch too. You got your Hall of Fame Mafia. We're working on doing a deal with that. I got to get a hold of a guy, but we're working on a deal like that. After a few months, we want to make sure that you get a shirt just for being a member, right? If you're at a certain level. So look, we're going to work on some of that kind of stuff. We're going to be doing some giveaways, but we're moving in a good direction. I was actually going to tell Coach whenever we get off air here, there's some stuff coming down the pipe, and we're so happy to be here every week. bringing you this
Jason,
content.
what are our numbers looking like, Jason?
This was kind of impromptu, so I think we probably got over 100 views though tonight, right now, and guaranteed we'll hit 1,000. But we've been hitting 1,000 at least on every video, most of them anyway.
Also, hey man, don't tell me I'm killing your views, man.
No. It was impromptu. No, I didn't even expect to do it, but this week's been kind of rough, man. I hadn't been on as much, and I was on Discord, and my guys are all asking me, man, where you been? Where you been? And so I was like, I guess I better go and do something tonight. So
hey, your Friday night show, by the way, your Friday night show was good.
Hey, thank you, man. Yeah, I did a high school job for the newspaper here that I work at. So
it's a good open weekend for high school football too, man. I enjoyed a lot of those games, man.
Heck yeah. Yeah, man. And we're having a lot of fun, man. We're having a lot of fun with all this stuff. So it's exciting, man. It's just, I gotta make a little bit more cash so I don't have to have another job, and then it'll be good.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah. Yep. But hey, yeah, it's see Brenna, she's a big Bulldog fan. It was a big win for Hobbs this weekend. So it's she was actually talking about our high school is called the Bulldogs too. They're Shawty. The Artesia Bulldogs, we've got 31 state championships in football. So it's a big deal for but it's in New Mexico. It's kind of, but hey, it's good.
Right. Somebody got to win them. You got 31 of them. Shit, I don't care how you like it.
Only one school in the country that has more. Only one school in the country has more state championships. So
yeah.
Anyway, it's a big deal, man. It's a big deal.
Yeah. It's a hell of a stat.
Yeah, hey, it's pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. Yeah, man. Anyway, thanks a lot again, folks. We appreciate you all coming in, and catch you on Tuesday. See you on the next one.